We're back. It's time for the 2024 Urban NerdCon. Join us in Atlanta, Georgia, April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel. Special guests include Underworld creator Kevin Grievous, Gary Gray from Fairly Odd Parents, from Nickelodeon, Giovanni Samuels, the Science Machine Michael Green, the Sci-Fi Sisters, and from Spaceballs and Star Trek Voyager, Tim Russ.
Hi, I'm Tim Russ. Join me April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia for the Urban NerdCon. Our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone con. I'll see you there. Live long and prosper.
Visit theurbannerdcon.net to get your buy one, get one free badges before the price increases. Remember, our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone's con. See you there.
Well, hello. Good evening. Welcome to the O&G Strike Zone.
Who that? Hey, Marcus, who that stranger?
How y'all doing? My
Man,
coach
they let
Colzie
Put his Rattler trucker hat on.
Man, they let
Colzie hat.
them kids let you back on the bus.
Hey, I'm done driving around Daisy, John, Sue, Mary, and Abraham. I done drove everybody through the mountains of the Smoky Mountains, boy. And boy, what an adventure. But it's good to be back with y'all, man. Good to be back on the O&G. I'm Bryan Fulford. That's Kelvin Rozier and Marcus Green. Good to be back here. How you brothers feeling? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing great. A lot of things to get to today, buddy. So I'm gonna be brief. Breaking news.
Yeah. Breaking news. Right off the How you doing, Marcus?
I'm doing good. It seems like we're getting in the swing of things. A lot of things going on this spring. Your FAMU's riding high. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yes, indeed. First off, I got to give a big thank you and a shout out to AD Drew for coming in on his birthday. My co-host, my brother, my Rattler, my Midwest, partner in crime or whatever, however you want to call it. But I'm very appreciative of Drew coming in, filling in on his birthday. I don't know what was a harder sell, getting him to come in and co-host or getting him to do it on his birthday. But
you cold-blooded, brother. You cold-blooded.
Hey, he was the first and only call. So that just, that's love. That's love. So I appreciate Drew. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed listening to you guys, man. It was a great show. The numbers were great. So thank you to Rattler Nation for joining in. Thank you, Gerald Thomas, Coach Nikki, Coach Moore. That was a great episode, man. The numbers even reflect that. And Rattler Nation, thank you to all you guys out there for supporting the show, for viewing it, sharing it. All the numbers help, the algorithm, and all that stuff helps. So very appreciative of all you do in support of the O&G Strike Zone. And so, we just ask you at the beginning of our show, like we always do, to make sure to hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button if you're watching us on YouTube. I think all the YouTube channels are working by my account. So all the Facebook channels are working. We got people watching us possibly on Instagram Live via the Black College Sports Network Instagram page. might be watching us on X, formerly known as Twitter, on the ONG Twitter feed, as well as the BCSN Twitter feed. So we're all over the place.
We got you covered. We got you covered.
We got you covered, Rattler Nation. Coming up on tonight's show, we get to talk to the head ball coach, Coach James Colzie III. He's stepping in. We're going to talk to him at the bottom of the hour. Then we're also going to talk to Donald Reed at the top of hour 2, the head equipment manager for FAMU Athletics. I got some interesting equipment and uniform related questions to ask Mr. Reed. So, but I'm sure you guys might as well. And then a little bit later, we invited back Ashley Coleman to come back and talk to us. A lot of NIL related news info, and I think maybe
NCAA breaking news.
Hey, yeah. So we will talk all of that. So we got a loaded show, man. Look, I got Marcus. I hope you got some energy in you, boy. You know, because this one might be a heavy one, though. You get you some 5-hour energy, Marcus. I got my hold on. Let me get got my drink. Got the ice chips. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready?
Let's roll, baby.
Man, look. Hey, appreciate. Look, we not even gonna go to the roll call because, man, we got breaking news to talk about right from the get-go. And we got a head ball coach, fellas.
Men's basketball.
I'm talking men's basketball. Just 30 minutes ago, they beat us to the punch. But anyway,
it was a race. It was a race, Rattler Nation. We tipped them off.
Exactly. Shout out to Josh Padilla. I'm sure they had it planned anyway. But yes, our new head men's basketball coach, the 15th head coach, is none other than Coach Patrick Crary II. Now you may say, who is this? Who is Patrick Crary?
Me.
Who this?
who this? Being down here in Florida in the coaching circles, I know him. I know of him through one of my assistant coaches that I coach with at my high school. He coached with him just a year ago. So, but let me read the press release, fresh off the presses here from our VP and Director of Athletics, Tiffany Dawn Sykes. She names Patrick Crary, the 15th head men's basketball coach at Florida A&M on April 17th, 2024. She says, quote, "I'm delighted to welcome Coach Crary and his family as the newest members of the family. I must thank the dedicated members of the search committee for their diligent efforts in identifying Patrick amidst a pool of interested and talented candidates. During this process, I received countless emails and messages from people who shared that they wanted a winner, and Patrick's reputation as a winner precedes him. I look forward to his fresh perspective and the leadership he'll bring as we usher in a new era for FAMU men's basketball." Coach Crary says, quote, "Rattler Nation, I am humbled and elated to join the family as the new head coach of the men's basketball team at the #1 public HBCU, Florida A&M University. I am extremely thankful to President Robinson and AD Sykes for entrusting me with the opportunity to lead this program. We look forward to building strong relationships with the student body, faculty, staff, alumni, and the Tallahassee community. Our program is poised to become a perennial contender in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and I can't wait to get started." All right. So, who is Patrick Crary, huh? You guys still trying to figure that out, huh?
Yeah, tell us, please.
All right. Well, here's a little some bio info on Patrick. He is coming to us from St. Thomas University, where he has been the head coach at St. Thomas University. Now, if you're not familiar, that is down in Miami Gardens, Florida, right down the street from Florida Memorial University. They're part of the Sun Conference, an NAIA school. He had a 61-27 record in his 3 seasons at St. Thomas, 2 consecutive NAIA tournaments, 3 straight winning seasons in the 3 years that he was leading the Bobcats. This past season, he led the Bobcats to a 22-9, 10-4 record in conference, where they were the Sun Conference regular season champs. The Bobcats made the NAIA tournament second round and finished the season ranked 21st in the nation. The Bobcats' regular season success led to Creary being named the Sun Conference Coach of the Year. He and the Bobcats saw a league-high 5 members selected to the all-conference team, led by Milton Matthews, Josh Taylor, Sirius Warren on the first team, Anthony Harris and Jordan Hernandez on the second. Matthew was also named a NAIA All-American second team. Some additional bio info that you can, if you're watching us on one of our feeds, you can see that he's from Washington, D.C. He did do some coaching at Washington Adventist University for about a decade prior to coming to St. Thomas. And he was now in 2014, that school won the USCAA Men's Division I National Championship. He later on, I believe, when Adventist moved to NAIA status, he was the AII Conference Coach of the Year. Then, of course, came over to St. Thomas University. You can see he's been in 6 NAIA tournaments, had 6 20-win seasons. There's the resume, folks. 39 years old, a young, exciting, ready to hit the ground running. I'm told he's a great recruiter. That current roster at St. Thomas was full of Division I guys that he got out of the portal. So he has recruited Division I talent. In talking with my guy that I coach with here at the high school level, nothing but positive words, and not just saying that because he worked with him, but I mean, this is the fit, guys, that I thought would be a good fit for our program. What are your thoughts right now?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, with everything going on in the off season, and I mentioned this to us off air, this wasn't the NAIA coach that we had that first came to mind when it came to our opening. But I'm really interested in giving him a shot. He's young. And I was wondering, I hadn't really had a chance to look up his bio, so I'm glad you got all this compiled. So he has ties to the DMV.
Mm-hmm.
Been in Florida for 3 years. I don't know to what degree he's established enough.
He's established some good roots from what my guy tells me. He has established a very good relationship. Especially now, he's in South Florida. Miami Gardens is right there in South Florida.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just talking like the state and establishing, and it'll be interesting given the new state of recruiting in the college landscape across all sports, but especially the revenue sports. His take on roster building. Mm-hmm. So understanding that, and how he mixes high school and college and what relationships he can establish. So it'll be an interesting fit. We kind of, talked about it before in terms of some of the characteristics that we're looking for. He may not have, say, the Division I experience that some might clamor for, but if truth be told, I know I was on the Chris Wright bandwagon. So he's not quite, in terms of resume, like the last 2 years, the same as Chris Wright, having gotten to the championship at least once or twice or close to it. But, if we're building, if we're looking to start the slate clean with a young person who hopefully will have the pulse and be able to talk to today's recruitable athlete, he's had a good 2 or 3 year run to do that. So I'm willing to give him a shot.
Kelvin, what are your initial thoughts?
A lot of what Marcus said, but didn't they lose in the NAIA to Florida Memorial?
Well, they lost to Florida Memorial in the tournament championship game.
Yeah. Okay.
The finals. Yeah, the championship game. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I was looking for someone younger. So his age is fine. He has head coaching experience, but is Washington Adventist NAIA also or lower?
They became NAIA. They started, though, if you see the resume there, in 2014 they were part of the USCAA prior to moving to the NAIA.
So I would say this, like Marcus, I'll give it I'll wait and see what happens. I'm not going to slam it, but no NCAA experience, and
No.
that sticks out. He had several winning season, coach of the year. I do believe that winners win. So I think what's going to be key for him, frankly, is the staff he puts together.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope he gets a very, he has enough relationship connection to get a experienced assistant head coach, associate head coach that has NCAA experience. That's the one thing I'll be looking for, and then the rest can be figured out. And the only other thing I say about this, it appears, given the names that we know were available and who are out there, and then given the fact that we branded part of LeBron, there were some more qualified names out there, but they would have cost more. So So I think this is a budget higher, but it may work. So we'll see.
It's interesting, and when you say a budget higher, I know that some people will hear that and throw a negative connotation to it, but I'm going to hold to what I've said. We are a Division II NAIA program in a Division I outfit. We don't spend the money on our basketball program like a division, like even a mid-major program. I mean, Drew and I were talking earlier on Sunday. I didn't even know, he was referencing low, what did he say? Low major, low division. I didn't even know there was like a third level to being in Division I. Like there was, usually I just thought it was high major, mid-major. Nah, there's low major. And it's like, hell, we are low major. I mean, honestly, let's keep it real. We are what we are. I've been trying to tell people this. We are what, until we spend more money and generate more money, right, with our basketball program, we are what we are. So I maintain having someone from the D2 NAIA level is somebody who's willing to grind, who doesn't have all of the bells and whistles that even a mid-major program that spends $2 to $3 million in their basketball budget have. He probably didn't have that at St. Thomas, right? So here's somebody who's willing to get out and work and grind and build something. And that's what this program has needed for the past 15 years.
Yeah.
That part, I think we all can sit here and agree on. We needed somebody who would grow this program. And Marcus, I'm gonna steal your thought, because you're the one that first put this thought in my head. Hey, if we have to become that stepping stone to the next job in Division I, so be it. Let us be that program, as long as we've got the next whatever, right?
Yeah. And to be honest, the two things I'll throw, I mean, I'm not the basketball guy, as you guys know, so I'll leave that to you and Liv. But from that standpoint, I look at it like, we all clamor. If we look back, we're all clamoring about the Mike Gillespie days 15, almost 20 years ago. Well, he came from.
And where did he come from? Where did Gillespie come from?
He came from junior college.
Junior college. Exactly.
And
national champion.
And I know, and for us, at least maybe the three of us, and I don't know to what degree Kelvin was on the bandwagon, or you, Bryan, but I know we talked about the appeal of Chris Wright and his affinity for turning around programs quickly at two HBCUs. He was at Talladega, got them to the playoffs, and then he went to Langston. So, I mean, if we're looking apples to apples, we're getting a coach from the same level, might not have had the same degree of instantaneous success, like getting to, I guess, at Talladega, I think he got to the finals or something like that before he jumped to Langston. And then second round, I think last year he got an extension, and then he got to the championship game this year and probably should have had the championship. So we're not getting that same resume, but we're getting someone who could be potentially on the same trajectory and someone who's not foreign to the state. So there's no that aspect of it. So like you said, Bryan, we are where we are in terms of the program. You know, we're a program wearing some other clothing, and we have to build on that and take advantage of that with what we've allocated. And if we want to have a different type hire, then we have to have overall, in terms of fans, university support, all that, invest in basketball more than we have.
And interesting thing, someone has said that the boosters are stepping up so that he can start right away until we clear the line from the previous coach. So
until
that's
the contract.
So
yeah,
that
I just saw that in there too. About I think it was $20,000.
Yeah.
Bull, appreciate that. Bull said the boosters donated $20,000 until his contract kicks in July 1, and that's perfect. That's what needs to happen.
Yes,
That's great. Good intel, Bull. Appreciate you dropping that.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm not overly disappointed. I mean, what, we won 4 games this year?
6. Oh, you mean in conference? 4.
So
5 last year. Yeah.
So yeah, he's on board. He's a choice. So let's go Rattlers men's basketball.
Exactly.
The one thing I will say though, we'll probably never find out. It would have been nice to know what was the process, right?
Yeah, and I see
who
a lot
on
of
the committee, who applied,
you knew
who you interviewed.
You knew all that.
No, I see rumblings. No, I know. I have the Chris Wright thing, but also someone brought to my attention that he signed that extension in 2023 after he took Langston. I guess he's been there 3 years, 4 years, and he went like 1-31 or something his first year, and then like second round or third round of the NAIA championships 1 year, and then this
Who are you
year
talking about? Right?
Chris Wright. Yeah, I see some folks talking about it. Why didn't we go after him? We don't know if we did or didn't, but he signed a contract extension, and I don't know what his salary is.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much money we have to mess around with, but someone who got a contract extension after the second year probably has a buyout clause that's probably at least half the remaining contract or something like that. So we don't know if it was cost prohibitive to try to buy him out of his contract and then sign, and what would it take to get him here, whether it's what type of contract or the level of investment the school would have to do in order to entice him away from Langston. Don't know. That's all speculation. So we could either have dropped the ball on offering him or talked to him, or it could have been like, you know what? That's a little too rich for our blood. We don't know.
Well, so just to clarify for anyone who was curious about him, the year that he led Talladega, which was 3 years ago, to the national championship game, that was the year Langston went 1 and whatever, right?
Okay.
And then he left Talladega and came the next year and took a team that had just won 1 game and won 30-something games. And they lost in I think they made it to the round of 16, or I think maybe even the round of 8, in round of 16 in the national tournament in his first year. I think they were like 30-3. Greatest turnaround in collegiate basketball history. I dare anybody to tell me you can find somebody who went like plus 29 or plus 30 in the program from 1 year to the next. And then this past season is when they were even better and went to the national championship game. So, and that's when he signed that contract. And smart on the AD at Langston to get him in a contract extension that would, I think, push him to, I think it was 28, either 27 or 28. And it must have been pretty good because Coach Wright, he's a very loyal guy, but he had to know the market for his services was going to be hot. And for him to sign that extension must have been financially worth it. And Langston alums must have ponied up some real money to keep him. And with that, they probably did put a buyout clause in there. And I don't know,
or
exactly.
We could be cheap.
It's true.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Now, what's also interesting about this process, there were plenty of names that pulled their names out of the hat because this process, I mean, took, let's see, how long? A month? I mean, in a month, we've watched like schools we've seen schools with a coach that left and then they hired a new guy 48 to 72 hours later. And for FAMU, it took 4 weeks, maybe 5. So there's a lot. There's people who took jobs that may have been interested in the FAMU job that said, I can't wait around for this process.
Right.
As clunky as it is, we can't wait around, and may have gone on to got better jobs, or at least better paying jobs during this whole time. So
yeah,
it was one of those situations where you knew. I just started feeling like last week, okay, when I saw that Hoop Dirt article come out, you could tell by the list of names, okay, it was people either in what positions, either people that had maybe just lost a job,
out of a job,
people who are out of a job, or people at the D2 NAIA level that were looking for an opportunity to step up. Every name on that list, if you go back to that Hoop Dirt article, every name on that list, and it's funny, at the end of it, they said the next coach was going to be one of the names in that list. And Crairy's name actually was further down. So if there was a real betting market, you could have made some real money on picking Patrick Crairy for that post. But some of those other guys were, I say maybe I use it affectionately when I say a retread, but similar to what we've had, guys who have been in Division I for 20, 30 years. Some of those guys had good resumes.
Will Jones wasn't. He didn't fit. He wasn't.
Well, that was and look, that's the name that was kind of interesting to me. Yeah. That I started maybe hearing some rumblings that maybe, could Will Jones possibly be the guy? But we got our guy.
Yeah.
We got our guy.
We got to roll now.
Yeah, we got to roll. So the press conference will be again, for those of you jumping in, Patrick Crairy II, the 15th men's head basketball coach at FAMU. The press conference will be 2:00 tomorrow afternoon, Thursday afternoon. It'll be on Rattlers Plus. Hopefully it's free. I don't know. I'm who knows? Hopefully it's free. I'm paid for the month, so we'll see. I would hope it's free. I can only hope. Maybe I'll text Josh during the break and say, "Hey, Josh, is it free?" But anyway, we'll just put that out there. So encourage you guys to tune in. Rattlers Plus, FAMUathletics.com. You can go to Rattlers Plus, 2:00 Eastern time, and hear the press conference with Coach Patrick Crairy II. Super excited about this opportunity. I have placed a couple calls with a long shot to see if any chance we can get Coach to come on the show. I don't know. We'll see. I know he's probably busy. He might even be on the road. I don't know. Hopefully he's flying up to Tallahassee. I hope they're not driving him. I'm hoping he's flying to Tallahassee. But who knows? I hope
he's in Tallahassee.
Well, look, hey, that's interesting too. Yeah, maybe is he already in Tallahassee? Right. So we'll go there. All right. Anything else we want to add there? I'm sure we'll circle back in on this. But anything else you want to add? Appreciate everybody. Great comments. People tuning in. Go and hit that thumbs up and the like button wherever you're watching and however you're consuming us. Of course, we say hello to everybody on Instagram and X. Thank you guys for jumping in and joining us. Everybody, good discussions on I may put a poll up in the my JBN online. May put a poll up and see how you guys are feeling with the hire. I don't know. Should I put a poll or no poll?
Do a poll.
Yeah, do a poll. Why
it's
not?
It's all in fun.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you like the hire or do you not like the hire? Maybe we'll just keep it real simple. Yes or no. And we'll see what Rattler Nation's feeling. Oh, the comments are coming in already. Oh, don't jump the gun, guys. Don't jump the gun. Okay. Coming up after the break, I believe we got the head ball coach, Coach Colzie, should be joining us. He may be busy, he may be delayed. So if he's not coming in at the after the break, we will talk about the spring game, maybe even show you those wonderful visuals of the championship rings from the weekend. So hang tight. Give us a moment or two to catch our breath after that breaking news. And we'll come right back with some more. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em. It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus here. And before we bring up our newest head men's football coach, I'm still got basketball on my mind. I got to say, we got to give a shout out and a happy birthday to a legend, FAMU Hall of Famer, college football Hall of Famer, Black college football Hall of Famer, Coach Rudy Hubbard, whose birthday is today. So we say happy birthday, Coach. Happy birthday to Coach Hubbard, Hubba. And with that said, we bring up the 19th head. All these numbers are starting to getting blurry here. The 19th head coach of our Florida A&M Rattlers, Coach James Colzie III. Coach, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I just got done with darn study hall with the guys, so we're it's going well. I'm glad you said that it was Coach Hubbard's birthday because I just shot him a text and I wanted to make sure I said the proper things to him. He was extremely beneficial this weekend and some of the things that he did for me and continues to do for me. So I think Coach Hubbard said he turned 29 today, so we want to wish him a happy 29th birthday,
Amen.
et cetera, et cetera.
Amen. Wow, that's a perfect. I'm glad you did that because that's why I set that up. I wanted to introduce that before you came in, and because I know you had that meeting with Coach. You did the coffee with Colzie on Saturday morning before the spring game, and I was hearing you talk a little bit about that unique relationship. You were talking this afternoon on the 220 Club that you have with Hubbard. Would you share with us maybe a little? I know you didn't get a chance to share as much this afternoon, but just share a little bit about that special relationship. You mentioned your family having that connection. Just talk a little bit about that connection with Coach that you have.
Well, I guess with my father and my grandfather being, they were pretty good athletes down in South Florida. The names that are mentioned down in South Florida are the Travis Powells, the Rudy Hubbards, the Wilcoxes, et cetera, guys that have been extremely influential, whether it was white, black, or whatever, as far as who was playing. But those were the guys that have stadiums and fields named after him for obvious reasons. So, but Coach Hubbard was one of the first black coaches at the PWI level, and when he was at Ohio State, right, he was coaching the running backs, and he was the coach of Archie Griffin, the only two-time Heisman Trophy winner. But my uncle was also at Ohio State at the same time. Neil Colzie, first-round draft pick for the Oakland Raiders, and I would say that my grandmother had the conversation with Coach Hubbard that allowed him to allow my uncle to attend Ohio State coming from Miami, Florida. So, there's a lot of connections, and then you get Coach Hubbard as a coach here. He won the national championship December 7th, 1974. We talked about that date because I was born the next day, December 8th, 1974, right over there in Baptist Hospital. Was about maybe 10 or 15 minutes away from, where they played that night. So, there's a lot of little similarities, a lot of little odd stories when you talk Coach Hubbard and my family, and obviously getting a chance. He actually just texted me back telling me thank you. But you kind of realize it is a small world, and again, I'm happy for the help that he provided my uncle, back in the mid 70s. And then obviously happy with the help that he provided me this past weekend, and just kind of throughout the process, because we've spoken quite a bit since I was hired as the head football coach.
Man, I tell you, those connections, those FAMU connections, that's what makes it beautiful, and that's we learn more about you and your family, and it just reaffirms why we love the selection, and you just being the person sitting in the chair as the head coach. I mean, it's a synergy that God doesn't make mistakes, and it just all fits, right? It all just fits.
I believe it. I got a lot of people behind me that that support me, and we have a lot of the same people in mind. You don't really realize it until you get to the same room with all these people. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of it has to do with, yes, they're happy with and for me, but I have to make sure I give respect and props to the people that came before me, and that's extremely important. The way my dad has handled himself throughout his life and around the certain people that I have been around in my family, and my Uncle Rick, my Uncle Neil, my father, my sisters, I've been around really, really good people, and they've always told me to make sure you treat people properly, because you never know when you may need them later. And so I've been around some really, really good people, because my family has been around some really, really good people as well.
Amen. Go ahead, Kelvin. Get us going.
Obviously, Coach, spring came to a conclusion with the spring game this Saturday. Lovely weather. I enjoyed it. I was thoroughly pleased with what I saw overall. But I just want to hear from you, Coach. How did the spring go, and then specifically the spring game?
Well, obviously we had a little bit of a different format than the game. I think the biggest thing for me was to make sure we got done what we needed to get done, but I didn't want to have any major injuries on that last day. I didn't want to have a guy. Again, I know it's part of the game. You know what I mean? But, I thought that, holding out Jalen Goss, holding out James Ash, holding out certain guys that we already know what they can do. I don't need to know if Jalen Goss can block, play left tackle for us Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. He's only done it for the last 4 years, right? I didn't need to know how well James Ash was going to handle, being an inside guy. So, I think the guys appreciated me understanding what they brought to the program. Now don't get me wrong. There were some things that we needed to look at and take a look at and evaluate and assess. And I think we did a really, really good job with that, not just on Saturday, but the other 13 practices that we had. So I didn't want major injuries. I wanted to get looks at certain positions that we needed to get looked at. And I think I think for the most part, we did what we needed to do. And I felt if I didn't get what we needed, even though we lost that practice because of the tornadoes on Thursday, if I felt we didn't get it, I would have had a practice this week. But after talking to the staff and really realizing and looking at what we've done and what we've accomplished, I thought 14 practices was good enough.
All right. And a follow-up will be just some things that stood out in terms of the game.
I thought our quarterback spin the ball pretty well. We got some, especially on that defensive backfield that will be one of the best defensive backfields in the country, especially with the guys that we have there. And our offense scored. They made plays, they made catches, they made the really, really good throws. So, we will have maybe a few more weapons than maybe we've had in the past. Maybe not as explosive, but we'll be able to throw the ball around the field a little bit more to different people because we'll trust them. The Zeros, the Kobe Grosses, the Jamari Gassets, the Kelvin Deans, the Jacques Yant, and then we obviously got about 3 or 4 other guys that that we're bringing along that we could throw them the football. So extremely happy with what Ja'Cory Jordan did at that as moving from quarterback to wide receiver, to the spring. So, we got some guys that could do some things with the football. We only got one, but I think we have to do a very, very good job of spreading it out and getting the ball to our athletes. And then on top of that, having the best offensive line in the conference, being able to run the football whenever we want with 2 quality running backs in Yant and Kelvin Dean.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Agreed.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Good evening, Coach. Thank you for joining us. I have 3 questions, but the first one's going to be a double question.
Okay.
The first one, I was trying to find, and I couldn't find it. Your history of the record and some of the stats from when you coached at St. Mary's in Canada, just to try to figure out what kind of offense you called and those type things. And the defense looks like the defense was pretty stingy for a couple of years, 2017 and 2018.
Right.
How much, without revealing too much, how much of your philosophy from when you coached then in terms of offense and defense do you expect to translate to what you're going to call here as the head coach at FAMU?
Well, I didn't do the offense. As the head coach at St. Mary's, I was also the defensive coordinator. So, I think a lot of the things for me, philosophy-wise, again, if you guys have ever watched a CFL game or a college Canadian game, I'm going to tell you that's a whole different deal. That's a whole different show. It's a whole nother show when we have to speak about the Canadian game. But I think the philosophy for me is making sure we'll stay the same here, where we want to make sure we have the best 11 on the field. Right situation, when it's third down and long, and the announcers playing whatever song we decided we want to use on third down and long, it's important for us to get in our best defensive line so we can rush the passer to go along with our best defensive backs in the backfield to cover. So no matter the situation, we want to make sure we have the best 11 on the field in regardless of what we're doing. So, Howard, if you guys probably don't remember, but Howard came out there with a bunch of old linemen and a bunch of tackles. They were going to run the football against us. They didn't think they had the opportunity to throw the ball, so they were going to run the football. So defensively, right, we actually went to our, we're a 4-2-5 defense, but when they came out there, there was extra guys on the offensive side of the football field. We went to a 4-3, and that's not something that we normally use, but philosophy-wise, well, we wanted to make sure we had our best 11 out there, so that meant we had to put another linebacker out there. So similar thoughts as far as the philosophy goes. Now, again, the defense we had in Canada, believe it or not, I had a lot of Americans on that defense that they came to Canada to play for us. And so that's part of the reason why we were really, really good. But our base defense in Canada was quarters. Our base defense here, here in Florida A&M is going to be quarters. We played quite a bit of man-to-man at times here at Florida A&M. When all the bets are on, we're gonna blitz you, and we're gonna have to have the ability to play man to man. So philosophy's somewhat similar as far as what we're trying to do. Offensively, a little bit different because the offensive game in Canada is quite different than the offensive game here. But I want you to say same philosophy as far as the best 11 on the field per situation that we're doing. So when you look at the spring game, we did a lot of things situationally. Like we did some third down stuff. We did coming out, then we worked 2-minute, then we had some stuff, inside the 10-yard line. So, in this day and age, you just don't line up and just play football, right? You got to work situations. You got to work certain things on the offensive side of the football, on the defensive side of the football. There were times I put the ball down and offense, you're in a tough situation. I need 2 first downs. If you get 2 first downs, we win, right? Then I would flip it and then put the ball at the 10-yard line. Hey, defense, we can't let them in, right? At worst, at best, they get a field goal, right? So I thought we did a really, really good job with that. And again, that wasn't just me. We talked as a staff on certain things they needed, certain things they wanted, and I made sure I facilitated that, not just on Saturday, but throughout spring practice.
Okay. And the second question is kind of deviation from that. That I know we have the slogan reload and repeat. I've seen that on some T-shirts and some of the hashtags. And the standard is the standard, especially coming off Black College National Championship and Celebration Bowl win. But with the majority of the team that may be coming back, not having been here in the formative years, I think the class of 2019 that may have stuck around, I'm not 100% sure, I haven't looked at the roster, but I think all of those players are now gone in terms of the Javon Morgans, and other folks who came in class of 2019 or even before. So are there any concerns about not necessarily having, I know the standard is the standard and you can preach it, but if there aren't any players remaining that were there in the formative years, is there any concern about making sure that the gravity of what you wish to continue is relayed appropriately?
Well, absolutely. You mentioned Javon Morgan, and he was a pretty dang good football player, and we have a lot of those guys that we had last year. You already knew what you were going to kind of get from those guys, right? They've been in the battles, they've been in the wars, et cetera, et cetera. So, it's going to be important for us to not put a lot on the plate on some of these guys, right? We're going to open up against Norfolk State, but we can't beat Norfolk State, South Carolina State, Miami, Troy, all these other games after that if we don't take care of Norfolk State. We have to understand who we have. We have to understand what they're capable of doing. And Javon Morgan, Isaiah Major, those guys they had to start small also, right? They had to start small in some of the things that we asked them to do. And then that's kind of how we must take it. Not have to take it. That's how we must take it, right? So, some of the guys that are coming in, they decent spring. We'll obviously have training camp, and we'll see how well they'll do there. But, you got to kind of give them small sample sizes. We can't just put everything on them, to think that that's all going to happen for us that first game. So we understand that, but, we also have fans, right? We also have fans that expect us to be as good as we can be. And we are a talented bunch. But you are right that Javon Morgan is going to be a heck of a lot different, right? That person that's playing Javon Morgan's position that first game when we play Norfolk State is not going to be him. And we have to understand that, and we have to make sure how we plan and get him ready to play, right? Before he can become Javon Morgan, we need him to be who he is, right? And that means slowing it down, getting him ready to play to the best of his ability, not to the person that played before him.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Well, thank you. That's a great question.
Marcus, that was some good stuff. Marcus, I
That
thought
was
you.
good.
I
got
you
one
had
more, but I got one more.
Hold on, let me. I'm gonna come back to you, Marcus. I know you didn't want to burn all the shoot all the bullets in the gun. But let me go ahead. Let me get one quick one in here, and then I'll come back around. We'll go back around. So, Coach, this can come sort of out of a combination here, out of a question that EA asked out of the chats about the dual responsibility of Coach Henry, who is the OC and his offensive line duties. And then I want to combine that also with the addition of Coach Henry Burris, who, I mean, when you look at his resume, I mean, whoa. I mean, I was just doing the numbers here. 63,000 passing yards in his career. I mean, what, just to throw that at people, Warren Moon, who many people associate his time in the CFL before the NFL, he over his entire career threw for 73,000. Yep. So here's somebody that's coming into the room with those kind of passing numbers, the Grey Cup titles, the Hall of Fame resume. How does his role as the co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, how does that merge and work with the duties and responsibilities that you have established for Coach Henry, Coach Joe Henry?
Yeah, well, I'll start with Coach Burris. You know, I think it was going to be extremely important. You know, we didn't just lose Coach Simmons as the head football coach, right? We lost him as the offensive coordinator. We lost him as the head coach, and it was going to be extremely important to help get that room back to where they trusted whoever was going to be in that room coaching them. You know, and obviously me being in Canada over the last previous 7 years, and then I want to make sure that we include Coach Henry in helping find Coach Burris, because believe it or not, Coach Burris and Coach Henry had a communication before that, because they had met a couple weeks before. You know what I mean? I was I think the last time we talked, I told you we were kind of going through the process. Mm-hmm. Well, Coach Burris hadn't even been mentioned yet. You know, we had already had some other people that we were talking to and going through the interview process, and Coach Henry ended up meeting Coach Burris somewhere else, and then they had a conversation, right? And then Coach Henry calls me and says, "Hey, man, we might want to look at this Henry Burris guy." I said, well, hold on, we might want to look at him. We might want to do a little more than that, because I knew of Coach Burris, right? I know of Coach Burris, obviously being in Canada during the period of time, and obviously we wanted to go through the process properly, and he was well ahead of than some of the other guys that were also on the interview process with us, right? So I think it was important to make sure we brought in a guy that, for one, who was extremely intelligent, right, could help captivate the room, help build the room. These our quarterbacks that we have right now, obviously, they needed to make sure that their coach was going to be, they needed to trust the coach, right? Trust who was going to be coaching them, especially after losing, Coach Simmons in that room, right? So that was important to us, right? And again, he was also a guy who's been a part of multiple offenses. So I didn't necessarily want a guy who was going to come in with their own ideas. I needed that guy to be able to adjust to what we were doing, because what we're doing offensively is exactly what we've been doing the last, 3, 4, 5 years that Coach Simmons was here, right? So I didn't want to change the terminology. I didn't want to change a lot of the vernacular that Coach Henry had been using and Coach Simmons had been using over the years. But the experience that Coach Burris had allowed him to be able to come in and adjust to what we were doing. So that was extremely important for me. Now, believe it or not, this spring, you always worry about your coordinators, right? Their first time, their first time calling plays, their first time going into a football game, and we all know. I mean, it's going to be an exciting and important time for Coach Henry and Coach Patterson as first time coordinators in the game. But what I thought we did a real good job with throughout the spring is I didn't script a lot of things. I threw a lot of things at them during practice where I didn't want scripts. I wanted you to be able to make calls at certain times during certain times of practice, just like you would do in a game. Now, again, is that the same amount of pressure in Jackson, Mississippi on the 3rd and 8 with 3 minutes left in the game? No, but I thought we did. I thought we tried our best to at least, create an atmosphere where most we all know when you script, you script for success, right? You're not going to script to be bad. You're going to, hey, we're going to run this play because it's going to work for this or work for that. So, we put a couple things in practice where I would surprise them with certain but certain situations, and y'all had to call the game as if we are in a game, right? So, and I thought both sides did really, really well. We had multiple scrimmages where Coach Henry worked from up top in the box, and then he worked down, on the field. And again, that's a completely different aspect for the coaches, right? So we tried to create that atmosphere as game ready as we could, and we'll continue to do that as we go through training camp. So those two guys they're working really, really good hand to hand. Coach Henry, we all know Coach Henry's been here. Coach Henry was the co-OC, right? He was the organizer for Coach Simmons, while Coach Simmons was maybe going a bunch of different places throughout his day as the head football coach. And Coach Henry would organize and get everything together to make sure that when Coach Simmons did get back, everything was in order for the offense. And so not the only thing that's different with Coach Henry right now, he's calling the plays, right? He's calling the plays, but he understands our offense better than anyone on this side of the football. And I trust everything that he's doing.
All right. Go ahead, Kelvin.
So let's jump to the other side of the ball. The side of the ball you were more active with. Coach Patterson, you got Coach Pope who started and was announced. And I'm not sure if you're in a position yet to talk about any other hires D-line, but just kind of talk about the defense side of the ball, the same thing.
Well, I mean, and I'll start with the defensive line. I mean, we have hired someone, right, and they've gone through everything. We just haven't announced him yet, and there's a process that our SID likes to do, and and we probably were gonna announce him today, but there was another hire that happened today. Superseded. I think maybe our AD said, hey, you know what? We'll wait for the D-line hire in 48 hours because we got to make sure we make this one. And believe it or not, I actually saw him today. Real good guy. Extremely knowledgeable. He's a much better dresser than I am. So I got to tighten up my wardrobe because he was dressed pretty good this evening. But all things are great. He's coach. Our D-line coach has been with us. I just want him to get the same amount of exposure that the other guys have gotten through our SID. So he's good to go. Right. Really good coach, former NFL player, was at a Division I school. So he's going to be really, really good. I just want to make sure he gets the same buzz that the other guys got. Now, Coach Pope played for me. The only thing Coach Pope is doing, he's making me feel a little bit older. But he played for me at West Georgia when we were having an enormous amount of success. He's similar to me where he's kind of gone through the gamut, right? He's been different places, had success, moved on, and he was a part of that defensive staff that Alabama State's been having over the last 2 or 3 years, who arguably some would say is the second best defense in the conference behind what we're doing, right? So but he's going to take the entire back end, coach the safeties, and not going to coach the corners, but he'll have that pass game coordinator title and the defensive back title, and he's taken on that full circle. He's done everything. It looks like he's been taught before by myself, and we're going to continue that at that point. Now, we did move Milton from from doing a great job at the D-line. We did move him to the linebacker position, and that was primarily because as a coordinator, I need him to be involved, not just in the run game like he was, at the defensive line, but I also need him to be involved into the pass game. Now, believe it or not, he's also a pretty damn good linebacker in his day while at Jackson State, so it's an easy transition for him. And that also gives him kind of the opportunity to maybe at times walk around practice and, get that detailed approach that he may need as a coordinator on a daily basis. So, we got a really, really good staff. I thought that we made the appropriate changes. We lost a really, really good coach, guys. Coach Smitty did a really, really good job for us. And it was extremely detailed and a lot of the success that we had, right, is because of the hard work that Coach Smith put in on a daily basis for what we did on defense, right? So it was important to make sure we kept the same mindset, same terminology, same things that we're doing. We want to be a 4-2-5 defense. We want to be fast. We want to run quarters. We want to run our thirds. And when push comes to shove, we're going to blitz the heck at you and play man-to-man. So, those are the things I didn't want to change. And I just want to make sure that, we kept that. So Coach Patterson is doing a really, really good job with that. We're leaning on each other on some of the stuff that we did on the back end, last year. So, we're going to keep some of those things And obviously, when you talk players, you mentioned Kendall Bowler, you mentioned Andre Powell, you mentioned Chase Lloyd. We do again. We've been hit a little bit in the portal more so on the defensive side than we have on the offensive side. But if you go back into the past and look at some of the guys that we signed in January, it was heavy defense because we were aware that this possibly may happen with some of the guys that are in the portal right now.
Marcus, I'm gonna give you the last question there because I know you had that third one in your pocket. So go ahead and get that last question in for Coach.
Yes, Coach. This is kind of around the state of college athletics and focusing specifically on football, but we know it's going all the way around. And something that I wanted to ask last week with Coach Moore, I wanted to ask you from your perspective as it relates to all the changes going on with the transfer rules and the new NCAA ruling. And I guess the question I had is, with players leaving the portal, and not only from FAMU, of course, we're focused on the FAMU players, but all over, and seemingly NIL agents getting involved, does this portend for college coaching staffs to start to mimic NFL staffs where you have a director of player personnel that may be talking, speaking, or directly negotiating with NIL agents and for players that are in the portal?
Well, that's a hell of a question because I think, based on the university that you're at, you have to handle the portal according to where you are, right? So, and I know we're specifically talking about Florida A&M, right? And so I think the guys, and this is just in communication with the players. I mean, the guys that are in the portal, I want you guys to know they love Florida A&M. They love Florida A&M. They love the city. They love getting up and getting on that field, whether we're playing home or away, playing in front of the crowd, playing in front of the national crowd, having the opportunity to play for national titles, win SWAC championships. So, the guys that are in the portal, it's not because of them not liking the university or not liking how much time they played or whatever the case may be. We know there's a lot of guys that are in the portal because of those reasons, right? So not FAMU guys, but other, players that are at other institutions, right? So and that's how we take it as such, right? We have some really, really good players. When you look at our football team that are playing in the FCS and the SWAC conference, which is a very, very competitive league, and we play in the FCS, which is, obviously right below the FBS level, right? And we have been able to have players that have ability to play at the FBS or at the group of five or at the Power 5 level. So that's a blessing. That's why we've had the success that we've had. So how we view it, right, is these guys are going to try to see if the grass is greener on the other side. And how they communicate with me and what they've done thus far has been utmost professional. And they want to see what maybe they can get, right? Where, through our NIL or through our process, we might not be able to offer as much as maybe some of these other universities. So they're getting that opportunity. So it's not like I can hold them back from doing that because that's what the portal allows, right? They would look at me a different way if I didn't allow them to do that, And so, that's how I take it. Now, on the recruiting aspect, since the portal is open, and I made mention to this maybe a month or so ago, that we have guys that, and not whether it's good or bad, we have guys committing to Florida A&M on site when not even on site when we talk to them. Coach, hey, I want to, hey, Coach, hey, I'm happy you guys called. I'm in. Well, hold on now. What are you in? Like, what? Tell me what you're in with. And you know what? They were all confident at this place. They were big time players at that place, and they just want to come play for FAMU. So that just tells you about our product. What you guys are presenting at Florida A&M, the amount of support that we're receiving from the university. I mean, if we get a guy to come watch us play on a Saturday night at 6:00, you guys can only imagine the amount of commitments that we have after a guy comes and watches us play or watches a game here at Florida A&M. It's unbelievable. Like we got 30 commitments, and they just we just want to commit. We just want to play. We saw everything. We saw the game. We saw the atmosphere. We saw the band. We saw the support. We just want to commit, right? We have guys in the portal right now that are happy that we have communicated with them. They maybe were at another institution, and just we have reached out to them. They're ready. So we will be fine with or without some of the guys that are in the portal, right? And I want to make sure I reiterate this. We will take them back kindly, right? But we have to anticipate that they will not be with us. Therefore, we have to recruit accordingly because, again, we are trying to get back, right? We are trying to get back and win the SWAC. Those are the things that those are the expectations. That's the standard. You know, we got a chance to look at those rings last Friday. We want a few more of those. So we have to recruit as such, and we are doing that on both sides of the ball, not just offense and defense, but also special teams wise.
Okay. Is there a timeline, Coach?
Well, you know, we got the 2 weeks, right? Those guys are out there, and, you know, they're doing their visits. And, you know, we're not going to be the place where Monday a guy was in the portal, we're going to fly him here Friday. That's not how we go about it, you know, because that's for people that, you know, need the portal or are trying to fix their team or trying to, you know, go as fast as possible. That's not what we do in the portal. Coach Simmons didn't do that. That's not what we will do. We're going to truly vet who the guys are, what they're going to do for us, what can they do for us, what they did at their previous institution, right? So we're not going to be as fast as that. We're going to properly vet who they are. And again, we don't need all of these people to come to Florida in. We just need the right ones, right? So that means properly vet them and then get a chance to, you know, get the eye test and talk to them and, you know, and make sure that they're what we want at our university.
Awesome. Okay.
Thank you, Coach.
No, thank you.
Coach, I gotta say, man, the way that you have communicated this has been wonderful because I know, you know, when you just and like I said, I know you were working on your Twitter last time we talked, you were working on that, but boy, I tell you, the panic that rushes over Rattler Nation sometimes when we see the movement that's happening in the portal, it can be exhausting for fans. And so the way you communicate it and the way you talk about it and the way you move through it, I mean, it's refreshing. It's honest, it's open. And I think it'll be a great case study 2 to 3 years from now, obviously, because probably things will change in 2 to 3 years. God knows what it'll look like in 3 years.
Right.
But the way you are handling it now is wonderful. And you know, I think a lot of people, I speak for a lot of people I'm seeing in the chats. Hey, you know, we wish all of those guys well. We thank them for what they gave to FAMU and everything they did. And like you said, if they come back, great. But just the reloading is happening. It's not a rebuild. It's a reload. And there's so much talent, and it's good to be able to talk and sell FAMU because it is a wonderful place, and you guys are doing great things. So,
well, I appreciate it, and you know, I think transparency is best. And that, you know, for the most part, the guys that are in the portal have been extremely transparent with me. I know people are gonna ask. If you're another university, are you not gonna want number 58? Are you not gonna want, you know, some of these other guys that have been on our football team, you know, that have done really, really good things? So that just goes back to the type of teams that Coach Simmons as the head coach was bringing in. We had the right people. We had a very, very good football team, right? We had some really, really good players with a lot of talent. So, you know, now, you know, we have to make sure that we continue to do that. And that's, you know, obviously priority number one for us to make sure we do replace some of these guys that are in the portal. But I do have a sneaky suspicion that not all of them are going to be gone.
Okay. Last thought, Coach, or just last word. What's your schedule like? Well, I heard you mention something. You're on the road to South Florida next week, but just give us maybe, you know, your brief next month or so going into the summer schedule. What's it look like for you?
Well, you know, we got 2 more. We have these last 2 weeks, and I want you to know I didn't really do this on purpose, but you know, we had April 13th as our spring game, right? Which then led into the portal opening, you know, this upcoming Monday. So these last 2 weeks, it's going to allow us to go through, properly the guys that are in the portal. I think it's important that as coaches, as we're trying to navigate through the portal, I think it's important that we speak to our current players to know where they stand and how we see them, moving forward. I want to make sure that they understand, hey, where they are on our football team, things that they may need to work on, right? Because, we're getting ready to head into the summer. And even though it's the summer, that whole summer is going to go by quick, right? Training camp will be here. People will be there before they know it. So proper communication with our current players, navigate the portal for the next 2 weeks, see where we are, see who we like, see if allow our guys that are in the portal, see if they're going to make the determining factor to come back. But then once May 1st hits, right, I think we're going to have to do a better job on the high school level, which that's what we will then we will then put our focus, right? Making sure that we're hitting east to west all the way down to south in the state of Florida, making sure we're properly doing what we need to do. Because I don't like hearing coaches telling us that FAMU hasn't been there. We can't have that being said, and it's been said, right? So we got to make sure that statement or that being said, we got to make sure we stop that. So and no matter what, make sure we hit every high school that we could. State of Florida, we all, in the next couple of days, we'll all start getting our areas, reaching out to coaches, trying to figure out what's the best time frame. So that's what our May will look like. Also going through that time, we'll have about 60 to 70 guys here, getting ready for the season, lifting on the field, running, getting ready to hopefully, get ourselves back to where we need to go, but ultimately getting ready to play Norfolk State in Atlanta.
Well said. Well said. Appreciate your time, Coach, this evening. Great job with all of the activities and everything during the spring. Anytime you want to stop in and, you got some info to share or you got anything you want to share with us, just reach out. You got a spot, just jump on in.
I failed to mention, I'm sorry, I did fail to mention the quick strike tours that we do have going on. And, I got one in Miami. I'm all over the place apparently. Washington D.C., Dallas, Jacksonville, Davie. So
go get that money.
Pray for me. Pray for me that I can make sure I survive all this traveling. But ultimately, again, guys, I appreciate you guys having me on. I know how important this is, not just for myself, but also for the ONG StrikeZone and the fans across the country. It gives an opportunity to ask whatever they may ask, and whenever you guys need me, that. You guys shot me a text, didn't you? Right? And then
yes.
How quick did I get back to you saying that it was all good, right? So I love being on here, and again, I appreciate you. Marcus kind of asked the tough questions this time. So we might need to keep him kind of off kilter. He came in gunning, didn't he? I mean, wow.
He did. He did.
Wow. I mean, well, hey, I know who not to look at the press conference after the football game if we so happen to lose, because Marcus coming. But hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. And looking forward to hearing from you guys later on.
All right.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach. Be well now. Take care. All right. Beautiful stuff, man. That's Coach James Colzie III. Wow, good stuff. You guys on the strike tour, make sure to look out for those dates, especially coming up in the South Florida area. I think they call it the mini strike. Is coming down south next week or in a week or two. But when the big tour starts, you guys are going to enjoy Coach Colzie, man. He wins the room. He wins the room. I heard Vaughn say he wins the press conference. Well, he'll win the room too. So I think when he comes, make sure to get your ticket, be there to support, be there with your checks and your checkbook and your wallet and your debit cards and your credit cards, because you're going to want to spend some money, and because we got a good one. We got a real good one.
Putting in work.
Yeah, putting in work. All right, we're going to take a quick short break. Donald Reed's coming up on the other side. We're going to talk to Donald regarding FAMU equipment related stuff, some good stuff. And I know so good intel. I know a lot of people might have some questions on some things. We'll talk to him here in just a second. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
We're back. It's time for the 2024 Urban NerdCon. Join us in Atlanta, Georgia, April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel. Special guests include Underworld creator Kevin Grievous, Gary Gray from Fairly Odd Parents, from Nickelodeon, Giovanni Samuels, the Science Machine, Michael Green, the Sci-Fi Sisters, and from Spaceballs and Star Trek Voyager, Tim Russ.
Hi, I'm Tim Russ. Join me April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia for the Urban Nerd Con. Our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone con. I'll see you there. Live long and prosper.
Visit theurbannerdcon.net to get your buy one, get one free badges before the price increases. Remember, our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone's con. See you there.
All right, I just pulled a Drew there. I don't know if you caught that. I just
look at the product.
Hey, I'm in a good mood, man. I'm in a good spirit, man. So I just said, hell, I'm gonna play the whole doggone theme. Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus. Joining us right now is Donald Reed, our FAMU Athletics head equipment manager. I think, do I have that title right, Donald? Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, you call it director of equipment, head equipment manager. That's all the same.
All right, I want to put respect on your name and title, man. You're a hardworking man. So, why don't you give a little bit of background for people who don't know about you and what it is you do for our athletic programs?
Yeah, so first of all, I'd like to thank you guys for inviting me on the show, Mr. Kelvin, Mr. Marcus, and Mr. Bryan. It's the first time on the Orange and Green Strike Zone, so I'm very excited. I heard a lot of things, and I've been watching, I've been following. So some great shows you guys have. Just got done with Colzie. I don't know how I'm going to top that, man. Colzie's a great one, man. Controls the room, like you guys said. So I'm very excited to be on here, and just thank you guys so much for inviting me. So I'm Donald Reed, Director of Equipment here at FAMU. So I'm over all 13, 14 teams here on campus. So I'm in charge of ordering equipment, designing the apparel, making sure all the safety equipment is available for the student athletes, day-to-day practices, day-to-day games. I have an assistant, which is Patrick White. He does Olympic sports. I have another football assistant, which is Noah Contanzarite. He does football. And I'm pretty much oversee all the ordering, the budgeting for all the sports and the equipment needs. I've been here at FAMU since 2011 as an undergrad, graduated in 2015, transferred into FAMU, also finished my master's program in 2018 with sports management, did an internship with equipment, got hired on the next 6 months as an assistant. After that, I worked in the NFL with Washington Commanders, Redskins, football team, whatever you may want to call it. Then I got offered the full-time head director of equipment job here at Florida A&M. Went ahead and took it, worked under some great equipment managers, one of my coworkers, my best friend, my supervisor, my mentor, Dakari. So he taught me the ropes, and we all led through the way of, Godfather. So we all trying to build a legacy. So we all took our steps and, kind of built the program to where it's at now. And like I said, I have about 15 student managers here that work for me now. So we built a very, very large team. When I was a student, it was 4 or 5 of us. So it's became a very popular department, and kind of lead the show around here. Like I said, we take care of all sports, and I've been doing this for about 7 years now with the staff. So came in around Willie Simmons, a little bit before him, maybe that spring. But other than that, man, we're excited. We love what we do, and we bring excitement to the FAMU Athletics when we come with designs of apparel and all the beautiful orange and green, and here to talk about it. So let's go ahead.
Man, I tell you that is I don't know about I know Kelvin is. You see the way Kelvin dressed. I know Kelvin's big on apparel and equipment. You just know that. And probably Marcus too. But I am super geeked when it comes to apparel, and just when you see the college environment of what's out there, and it's almost like, you know, you can be a pro sports fan and be like, man, up until maybe recently, pro teams have kind of jazzed it up, but colleges is where it's at. What was it about being an equipment manager that kind of drew your interest, and what is it that kind of lights that fire for you when you're seeing things within the industry?
So, well, it all began when I was probably in high school and college. I always was the fanciest when I was on the field. I always had an entrepreneur mindset. So I had started a business in high school and college with sports equipment. And it kind of, you know, did a full circle when I was in grad school, just on Indeed, looking up jobs, and UCLA was hiring for $150,000 equipment manager. I said, let me look into equipment. You know, I love doing this. Kind of made a full circle. And then, you know, just, you know, it's just every day it's evolving. So it's never just set in stone. Everything changes. It's a new era, just how to keep up with the new school. So it's always evolving, and it's always something to do. And, you know, orange and green is just, you know, our school has so much pride, and everywhere you go, you see the Rattlers. So the first thing they say is, hey, I like that shirt, or I like your uniforms. And, you know, it's just a drive that everywhere you go, that the orange and green is so historical, and it just means a lot to our fans. And first, you know, they'll love to wear orange and green. You know, it's not going to wear all white or anything. It's just orange and green is our color. So it just draws the attention to me. And I just love outfitting all of our sports in the orange and green, and all of our staff members. And it's bigger than, you know, FAMU. It's the color, it's the school, it's the pride.
Yeah. Exactly. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Mm-hmm. Donald, when I was at the spring game and I took those pictures and I put them all on a social media platform, and then some people in the stands came up to me and was like, man, those jerseys, man, they awesome. Where can I go? And I sent several people down there, and I saw that you all look like y'all did pretty good with the sale. So everybody's been asking me since, can they still purchase the jerseys? And if so, how? So kind of explain that. And then I also want you to tell people what you do with the proceeds for the jerseys.
Correct. So it's not only a football thing. Like I said, I represent all sports. So the basketball games, we put out a display to buy the older basketball jerseys. Softball with the Coach Wiggins field reveal, we did a softball sale. Baseball, we're going to wait till home series. We're going to do baseball. Football, we brought it out at spring games. So we're trying to do it at the games to bring a little bit more excitement to the games. They are still available to purchase. It just has to be in person, because we're not doing online yet. We're still trying to figure out some nicks in the online sales. They are used jerseys, so I want customers to be satisfied on what they're getting. Even though they're game-worn, authentic jerseys, I don't want to mail out a jersey and, you know, they say it's not what they wanted, it has a little stain on it or whatever it is, just because it's game worn. So I want them to actually feel it and actually see that it's game worn. So if they have someone in town, that feel free to stop by the football field house or send me an email. I'm on the website, the athletic website. Send me an email and let me know what you want to purchase, what number. Have somebody stop by and look at the jersey and scan our QR code, and the link goes right to FAMU Equipment Foundation, and all the proceeds goes back to the sports to purchase new uniforms, whatever they need in uniform, in the uniform area. So we are still selling them. We did very, very good from the short promotion we had. We exceeded what we were going to sell. We have over, I would say, 800 jerseys in the inventory. I think the last jersey sale was in 2016, what I was hearing. So it's been a while. We've been trying to get this out for the longest, and now it's out. Now the word of mouth is out. I've sold probably half of what I sold even at the game, just from word of mouth from afterwards. So I appreciate you guys for having this little show and getting the word out. And like I said, we're continuing to push those jersey sales, football, basketball, baseball, all sports. Like I said, just send me an email. If you know somebody in town, they can pick it up. We'll get the QR code link, so all the proceeds go straight to the foundation account, which I can kind of divvy it out to the sports when they're needing uniforms. And, you know, like I said, football, we won Uniform of the Year. I think this is our third or fourth year in a row, so let's keep that up. We won Helmet of the Year for FCS. like 3-4 years in a row now. So, we're top of the top with uniforms. So we want to continue that trend and, stay on top. And like you guys said about recruiting with Coach Colzie, uniforms and apparel is our number one recruiting tool. Besides the university and the facilities and all that good stuff, like these kids, they want to see what you have to wear. That's the first thing we do. First thing they talk about, what do you guys wear? I heard you guys LeBron. Heard you guys are Nike. They want to see that orange and green. They want to see that apparel in hand and the uniform. So that's a big recruiting tool.
Yeah. I know somebody in Tallahassee. I may have to send him over to the field house.
Send them over, man. They're going like hotcakes, man. They're going like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Very happy and pleased. Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, actually, Kelvin and Mr. Reed kind of answered my question. Was, I guess, both of them in terms of, do we still have more? And the only ones that I've seen promoted, even back in, I guess, 2016 and whenever it was, seemed to be the football jerseys, and even saw some on eBay. And I was going to ask about the other sports, and also about mailing that right now is only online option. I guess so. I had to kind of adjust my question because it all got answered. But my question is this: you brought up LeBron, so now I have two questions that's kind of tied together a little bit. Now, LeBron jerseys have made it, I believe, to the basketball team, correct?
Correct.
Do we expect, or is there a timeline for when that will trickle down to the other sports? And then I'll ask the second half of that question once you finish that.
Well, great question. I'm in the works right now with the LeBron rep. We have a meeting pretty much this week. Can't say the timeline, but we have a meeting this week, and we're going over the other sports. Right now, it's a full basketball deal at the moment. They trickle down, and they can give out a couple of different LeBron items to different other sports, but they're not, they can't actually do it because they don't have the deal for all sports. It's just basketball right now. So we're in the works. It was a 2023 type of timeline for the football, but they had to get pushed back the supplies chain. They did do the football cleats this year. We're trying to trickle down to the other sports right now. So that's in the works right now. We're negotiating a contract with the LeBron and trying to get campus wide, LeBron. So that's definitely on our radar. We've been trying to work our way through it, but it's hard with supply chain, and he's only a basketball type of brand guy, and he has the football cleats going right now. So we're trying to get the baseball, the tennis, the softball, and all the other sports rolling. So that is part of our conversation that we're going to have this week, and trying to get all the other teams on board just to kind of spread the brand out. So that's a great question. And like I said, it's always brought up, and we're always trying to push it. But when the time is right, we're going to go full blow with it.
Okay. And the second half of that, and Bryan and Kelvin, I may need your help with the correct name, but I believe, is it Miss Thompson, Sabrina Thompson, that's over there in the marketing licensing? Yes. How closely do you collaborate the uniform design and whatever licensing goes on so that folks eventually may be able to buy true replica jerseys of the teams? Or, since we're in the era of NIL, if we actually get, not just a Bob Hayes 22 or 87, but actual player jerseys for someone who's going to be here. And I know with the NIL, it could be kind of a dicey deal. You print out jerseys and the player jumps in the portal, so now you're stuck with the jersey number. And so that's kind of dicey. And that's one reason I don't buy pro jerseys, because every time I buy one, the guy goes in free agency. But how closely do you work with Ms. Thompson in terms of licensing in order to get true, authentic, on the field replicas of what the teams are going to be wearing?
So me and Ms. Thompson, we cross paths a few times. We don't work as close, but that's a good question. We do need to communicate and see how we can get those players' jerseys in stores. So I did work at Dick's for 9 years, and it was a point in time where there was no FAMU stuff in Dick's Sporting Goods, and I was the head guy to kind of get some more licensing stuff into Dick's Sporting Goods, put it up front and have a good display like the Florida State display has. Same thing with Florida State. It's just they're a premier Nike school, so they get to have a little bit more into stores because they get their stuff made directly with Nike.
Hey, Donald,
yes.
Can you kind of explain that, what being premier means versus?
Yeah. So there's different levels of Nike. So they have an elite Nike, then they have a secondary Nike, then they have a third party Nike. So we have elevated from the third party. We don't have to go direct through BSN or anything. We can go directly to Nike now, and we have made that level. But fan base, school, the number of students out of school, all of that plays a factor on becoming a Nike elite premier school. It's just Nike wants to make money in sales, so they don't want to really provide certain things to go in stores if the volume is not going to sell. So it's different levels to that. But yeah, so we're not a Nike premier elite school. So you got the Oregons, you got the top tier schools that get it directly made from Nike with the logo on it and all that good stuff. We get our stuff blanks and we send it off to our decorators to get printed. So it's different tiers. It just comes with the school size and the different contracts. So yeah, so definitely we need to talk to Ms. Thompson and see what we can do to get to that level and try to get it in stores with names. And I know what you say with the NIL, it's another little loops and legal, but we definitely we can work on that.
Okay, yeah, not only loops and legal, but if you get a jersey printed, I know with the turnaround, by the time you get a jersey out, that player may or may not jump in the portal. So now you got a number X jersey of somebody who's now going to be playing for somebody else. So it's a dicey proposition.
It's very, very dicey, but other schools do it. So we got to figure out the loopholes and just see what can get done and how many they can make. And, it's ways around it. So can't count it all the way out.
This is where we need to have our throwback legend series. We got enough legends. Marcus, you mentioned the Bob Hayes 22. We got legends, that whole throwback phase is real popular. So we got enough legends that I think we got Hall of Famers all up and down the roster that I think people, if we ever were able to figure out how to do all that, I think that would be something that I think people would really get excited about. So let me ask something. You meant so when the Nike LeBron deal came about a few years ago, I was under the impression, maybe probably a lot of people, that it was going to be something similar to what the Jordan brand does. Like the Jordan brand, of course, started as basketball with just Carolina, and then other basketball programs, and then you started seeing the schools like Michigan wearing Michigan football wearing Air Jordan as the logo. Like the brand became its own thing, and I know there may be other sports that have Jordan gear. Is that, in your conversations with the LeBron rep, is that their goal there? And obviously I know time takes time, but is that their vision for the LeBron collegiate brand as well?
So that's what I believe. We're having talks on that. So they're trying to, and it's called a logo switch. So Jordan is still Nike, but they just logo switched to Nike to the Jordan logo. So that is in talks of some logo switching and some, jersey branding, and eventually get to all sports. So it's just logo switch. It's nothing hard. It's nothing impossible. So that is in the talks now for some logo switches and becoming LeBron brands with the jerseys and all the good stuff. But it took a while for the Jordan brand to get rolling. So LeBron's pretty new and fresh with the other sports. So, I believe it's going to come around in the near future. So that's what we're working on. That's what the talks are right now.
Let me ask a few questions from some people in the chats. Can you ask
Bryan, let me jump in real quick.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry about it. I want to ask real quick, with the number of championships that we've had across different sports, is it making it easier to negotiate or to promote the idea of getting LeBron brands across other sports besides basketball?
Bingo. Yes, it is. So that's part of the conversation we're just now having that I have this week. The LeBron rep did reach out to me about the championship brands, the championship teams right now. So we are winning a lot right now. So they want to push that championship logo around, and they want to definitely involve those teams. They are on national TV. They are on the highest stage right now. So that is a key point when talking to the reps. It is energy games. Well, what are the energy games? What are the energy teams right now? So if you see most of our energy games, we're going to try to push the LeBron brand as much as we can. The classics, when we get to football, the classics, the championships, you see the LeBron text we brought out, the travel suits during the classics. So it's big energy games we're pushing, and that gets the brand out. And once it catches, we're going to try to get this whole thing rolling. So right now, like I said, half of our sports right now are championship bound teams, and we won 3 or 4 already in half of the year, so we're pushing right now in this back half. We got 3 or 4 more teams that's going to make that run. So that championship run is definitely helping a lot, and with winning comes success, and everybody wants to jump on board. So definitely that winning is doing a lot for us right now.
Yeah. Sorry, thank you for the answer. Sorry, Bryan, for jumping in.
No, that was a great question. It actually led me my thought to a question or two, but let me get to a couple of these questions here in the chat. Kenya asked about a LeBron sneaker display. I know there's a Jordan sneaker display that some school somewhere in Carolina has. Has there?
I think Howard
have
has
you?
one too.
Yeah. Is there any? Have you thought about it, or is it something that you're shaking your head? So I mean,
So it's not my idea. I know Josh with media, he's been thinking about it, talking about it. We've been throwing little hints out of what we're going to try to do. So we have been collecting some LeBrons from the past years, and we're just trying to figure out. We're thinking about on the concourse of the Lawson Center. We're just trying to find a placement that everybody can see and kind of walk by as a place that they can just sightsee and kind of see. But the Lawson is with the school right now, so we're just trying to find a good place to actually put it. But it has been in talks, so we have been collecting the LeBrons right now and just trying to find a place to kind of position it, to see that a lot of at game day people can come down and see. So like maybe a hall with the championships, or just finding a place to put it where fans have access to. I know like downstairs backstage they don't have access, but somewhere in the concourse, and try to make a display for it. Yep. So that has been in the talks.
Obviously you outfit all of the athletic programs, but does the conversation happen with anybody, or has anybody had these thoughts other than us fans about opening up and creating a storefront that you have a lot of coaches gear, a lot of LeBron gear, maybe things that that our teams and our coaches wear, the travel suit. I mean, things that I think I personally think they're revenue generators. But have any kind of discussions, or have you been a part of any discussions about having or about creating a storefront, or that would allow people to get things maybe before they become these authentic or these throwback store, like the things that you're selling now, but while they're still fresh, while they're current? Any of those kind of conversations happening behind the scenes?
No, not that I know of. And a lot of this stuff is authentic stuff. So the football team, NCAA, we get it before everybody else. It's just the year of it. The following year, it goes to stores. So some of our travel suits, some of our coaches' sideline gear, it's called exclusive and it's called authentic. So they only made a certain amount of it, and it's just for that year for NCAA. So you'll see it the following year in stores typically. So yeah, it is a conversation you can have, but all of it would probably be older modeled stuff. But we never had that conversation really. So a lot of that stuff, like I said, it's authentic, and it's just released to NCAA and certain catalogs.
Hey, still the older stuff is still fresh though.
Yeah.
That's one thing. It's still fresh. I see somebody in the chat said the university bookstore is a place for that. I have come across some nice gear. Matter of fact, I think this lid I got from the university bookstore. Matter of fact,
nice.
Yeah. All right.
Those for the sideline this year. Those little trucker bucket hats. I'm trying to get that. Coach Colzie loves those, so I'm trying to have that as our game day hat. So you might have beat us to it. So you got something that's authentic.
Hey, I give credit all the FAMU bookstore, y'all. Y'all go. And that link is on the FAMU Athletics website. You can go to the FAMU Athletics and you can find that the link to the bookstore, just in case you're like me and you were wondering around, like, how do I find the bookstore link? And then there it is. Okay. Another question here from Ashley C. asking, will we have an alternate uniform like the all black or any other color? I don't know. You mentioned you were on the yard from 11 to 15. That might have been when we had all blacks back then. Anything you can share with us? Any ideas?
So we are working on an alternate uniform. From my experience and from the former equipment managers, black is, I would say, not friendly to the alumni, but if we can get them to, agree with it. You know, I knew we had some couple of bad games, bad season in them Blacks. So same thing, it was a little tough to get those white helmets out, but we were strategic and got a couple of easy wins in them, and now we're rocking them white. So you know,
Well
maybe
said,
black, yeah. So smoke gray, maybe that's close to black. But if we go to alternate,
we might have won more games in the smoke gray than we did the black, to be honest.
Correct. And you know, just looking at combinations, and the next thing they're going to want is probably a black helmet. So you know, it gets a little pricey. So we're trying to figure out, you know, what's the best option. And I think we're pretty close to alternate uniforms. So you know, we'll just have the alumni, and we'll reach around to Coach Colzie and see what's the best color we will probably go with. But we're close to that standpoint where we can get that alternate jersey. And like I said, we'll bring it out one of those big games. So any type of big game, just be aware, be on your toes. We might come out in something fancy. I know last year we came out with the white championship pants with the stripe on the side. So that was kind of a throwback type of theme. We're looking at the hallways, old pictures. We had the stripes on our pants and the throwback uniforms. So we kind of mimicked that a little bit and brought a little spice to the uniforms this year. So, you know, that was big time.
Yeah,
I'd love to see the OBC throwbacks from the 60s, but I know, I mean, we're not in that game anymore, but just to see that. And actually, I think one of our alums, and I guess the daughter, I guess he has 3 daughters that were FAMU alums, used to make them, I guess, down in Miami. Go ahead, Bryan. But I did have another question, but go ahead with the question.
Yeah, no. It was just going to be, I'm glad Donald mentioned that third helmet, because, another question that somebody had asked about, are we getting a third helmet? I was going to ask Donald, the helmet that I haven't seen recently are the orange helmets. Like, what's going on with the orange helmets, Donald? I miss the orange helmets. I see them, I know everyone's in love with the white, but man, I'm starting to miss the orange helmets.
So we played in orange helmets quite a bit. Right now, the orange helmets are getting painted right now and reconditioned. So we've been in whites a lot for spring game, and that's our practice helmets. We're getting those ready for the season. It's a very unique paint, so I like to send off early to make sure they get it right. If it's not the right color, we send it back. It takes another couple months, so we're very strategic when sending the orange helmets out to get reconditioned, recertified, and painted. Adding a third helmet will be very costly. Already 2 is very costly, because you got to think about it. Every 2 years, you got to send them off for recert, repainting, and making sure they meet the safety guidelines, and that can cost a grip. So imagine doubling that, and now imagine tripling that. Imagine having storage for it. So it's a lot to go in looking up for a third helmet, and it is a big recruiting tool with 2. We're probably one of the few to have 2 in the conference, so that's real good. And orange, white, it all depends with the coach, whatever they want to wear. Color combinations, we let the players vote on what combination they want to wear, what we've been winning in, and what looks good, and if it's senior day, what the seniors want to wear. So we love the orange. The orange is our go-to helmet, but we do have that white that we got to mix in there every once in a while also.
Go ahead, Marcus. What you got?
One follow-up question I had, and kind of tied into what you asked in Bryan earlier, and I know Mr. Reed, you may not have the staff to do it, but is there any reason why, I know you're working during the game in football, but if you have enough staff or student volunteers for you guys to have one of the concession stands to sell jerseys as the patrons are coming in?
So that was one of my suggestions also for the spring game, but I know we have vendors and other things. And, I definitely want to set up at least 1 or 2 home games, because I know we did great with I don't know how many attendees we had at this game, but imagine 25,000 people at a game, and, we get 1,000 customers with 1,000 jerseys, that's $8,000, so definitely we want to set up one. I am going to speak with administration to see if we can not even get a concession stand or a stand, and we'll definitely have some type of sale one of these games at a home game. So that's big time. Gives some fans times to come look at the jersey and purchase also. Yeah, correct.
Okay. Now the QR code, is it now if I click the QR code, will it just take me to where I need to pay, or will I actually be able to see jerseys?
You will not be able to see jerseys. It's just a link to our equipment foundation to pay. Like I said, you'll have to. I'll probably Post an ad on the FAMU equipment page, or probably Facebook, or on the FAMU football or every sport page. Post some pictures of what type of jerseys we have, and maybe they can have somebody come to a game or come to the equipment room, and they can say, "Hey, I want the green one. Do you have it in jersey 29?" I'll look on inventory and I'll get it going. So we also want to give our former players time to purchase their jerseys also. So I didn't want it to go super wild, but I want everybody to have a dib at the jersey sale.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Donald, will you speak on the gear that various teams receive? I know you, like, again, you try to take care of everybody. Are you able to, how does that work? I mean, I think I want to be the one word that I'm always cautious about is the word fair, but I think a better word would be equal. Are you able to supply various programs in each program with the gear, and is that a request from the coaches, or is it something that you and your staff try to put together? How does that work?
So with equipment, it goes deeper than just equipment and ordering. It's getting to know your athletes, getting to know what they want. It's a new era. Kids one year might want headbands. One year they might want long sleeve. One year they might want hoodies, crew necks. So that's what we do as an equipment team. We get to know our students. We get to know what they like, and we kind of build off season on, hey, what y'all like this year? What's new? And then they all get a fair allotment of money. We break it down per student, per athlete, per sport, what they need. So we do our, our research and make sure everybody gets the fair, equal opportunity. And we also add on to every year. It's evolving. So we get more money in. We want to elevate our program. We want to add different spice to the uniform. We want to add different spice to travel gear, travel shoes. What's the new shoe out? What's the new apparel out? So that's the biggest thing, is getting with the coaches, see what culture they want to provide. Some coaches want last name, some don't want last name. So you don't want to just shoot the gun and get them what we think. We want to make it a family environment. We want to make sure the student athletes are happy. We want to make sure they get what they kind of want or what they need. We do needs first, whatever they need first, and then what do they want? Make a wish list. See if we can afford it. See if we can fundraise with these little jersey sales and get everybody something they will want off their list. Like I said, we've been very good with that. We have no complaints on student athletes, what they want, what they need, just because we built our relationship with the coaches and the student athletes on, just seeing what they like. We go into the next year, we get with the captains, and we just try to fill out what they like, what they need, what they didn't get, and what's their, what they like. That's pretty much it, really.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Kelvin, want to get a last question in there for Donald? You're on mute.
I'm gonna be selfish with this question. So where are those white on white, the white number jerseys? Are they part of your inventory right now?
No.
I know I didn't see them.
I don't know where they are, man. I don't know if they sold those back, sold them somewhere. I haven't.
The infamous losing a
crazy.
timeout every quarter jerseys.
Correct. That was probably before me, right before me, actually. I think so. Yep. But yeah, they're gone. I didn't even get to see them in person. So
okay. All
right.
But
yeah, we do have a lot more though, man. Like I said, all sports, and we're bringing that out. And the baseball is going to do real good. The baseball is a hot item. We're going to do that probably their next conference home series. So we'll probably bring that out and get that rolling, and that'll pretty much hit pretty much every sport.
Let me ask one more question.
To get a picture?
In terms of, hold on one second. In terms of the other sports, Olympic sports, what is the most difficult sport to get gear? Because they're getting different things, and you're not just getting gear, you're getting equipment too, right?
Yeah, correct.
Right. So what is your most challenging Olympic sport?
I don't look at anything as a challenge right now, but I would say really it's the sports with the most fans. That's what you want to kind of look at when it comes to sports with difficulty. You have to be precise. You can't make sure your name is peeling off. You got to make sure everybody looks uniform. You have either 20,000 fans, you have probably 5,000 fans at basketball, you have probably 50 fans at softball, 75 fans at baseball. So you really want to cater to how many eyes are on the game and how detailed when it comes to that. That's the biggest thing. And how detailed can you be at a football game? We got to be hands-on and detailed as possible. You got 30,000 in the stadium. You got probably another 100,000 watching online. So you don't want to have a name peeling off the back. And most people don't know we sew all of our names in-house, the jersey, the nameplates. I got on YouTube, learned how to get a sewing machine, and taught some of my students. So we sew all 300 uniforms in-house. So we have number switches where numbers got to go from one uniform to a bigger uniforms. We're unstitching numbers. We're sewing them back on uniforms, which is saving the athletic department a lot of money. But we're all about teaching crafts and our equipment to our students, and you teaching skills. So, we do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that people don't even know about that, takes us a long ways on detail, but it's no difficult sport. We all like it. The challenges is how can we make the students happy and how can we make the coaches happy? And the more winning coaches we have, the harder that is, because they want to be elite too. They want the best. So they want a championship. Trust me, they own us. Can we get this? We need this. We need this. So and that's what we're here for, to make sure they get what they need to be a championship contending sport.
Good stuff, man. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you put out the FAMU Equip social media handles so folks can follow and see what you guys do? But also, if you put up images either on Instagram or Twitter that they can see some of the inventory that you have. I follow it. I've been following for a couple of years, but I don't know how, with all the other Twitter accounts or X accounts and Instagram accounts for the official teams, how many folks are actually following the equipment staff.
Gotcha. Yeah. Just trying to figure out what to type at in here. I know we got this little thing right. Okay, I got you. I'll join it right here and type our Instagram on this. But other than that, it's FAMU equipment. Everything is just FAMU equipment. You can follow us. We'll post it out. We'll also put it on the FAMU football page, FAMU basketball page, FAMU softball page. We'll go ahead and push that out also, so you guys won't miss it. FAMU Athletics Facebook, all that good stuff. So we'll definitely make sure we get it going.
At FAMU Equipment. Yeah, definitely make sure you guys follow them on IG and on X. Someone JT had asked about golf polos. Are those is there a way for people to get a hold of those?
That's a good question also. I'll get with Coach Rice and see what he has in overstock inventory. It's just very, very small sport, so they kind of use everything they need. But I think Coach Rice will have a couple in, and that'll be something huge also to put on display with the jersey sales also. So that's a great question also.
Yeah. Wow. Donald, real informative stuff, man. I appreciate all of your time, all of your passion, all of your energy, you and your staff. I mean, it's great to hear that you have 15 students that are working with you. I know you said when you were coming in, it was just 4 of you guys. So, I mean, you guys get a lot of stuff done. It's always a fun follow, though. I enjoy the Twitter and the Insta. I think you guys probably do more Instagram stuff than you do Twitter. But keep it going, because it's always fun, man. And that's its own world. Like college equipment, I mean, you could have a field day just seeing what different programs are doing. So, we love bragging about the gear and what our guys are in. Of course, we're all hunting to try to get more of it. So when you have sales like what you got going on, man, it's like people are flocking. And they should go to the field house. Go to the field house. Go to the field house and copy some of those jerseys and such. I can't wait to see what those baseball jerseys look like, though.
Yes.
Anything you wanted to add or share with us, Donald, that maybe we didn't get a chance to ask or talk to you about?
No, we do have a fundraiser coming up. The 1887 strike, the fundraiser, Day of Giving. I believe that is going to be Thursday and Friday. We'll put the link out. We'll push it out. We do have a program with FAMU Equipment. We have a fundraise page going on along with all of our other sports. So definitely want everybody to support that. That's very, very important for athletics. That helps us get the gear. That helps us get the uniform. That helps the students. That helps everything that goes on with our athletics program. So that's huge for us. That's all the support that we're going to need. And like I said, everything we do is for the students. A student athlete is equivalent to one of our student managers, and we just do hard work. Our student manager are there before practices, during practices, after practices. So they do put a lot of time in. So when we win, we all win. So when one sport wins, the equipment manager wins, the trainers win, the video team win, all support staff win. We're all in this as one. And like I said, just building the team, man, that's all we're doing here. Like I said, 10 of my 15 equipment managers are getting work studies. So, we're just building the brand, making sure they have financial support, make sure they have all of the resources that our student athletes have. And like I said, at the end of the day, they're like an athlete also, but they just don't get scholarships. So that's something we're raising for now, just little improvements to the room, stipends to give some student equipment managers, some sports trainers, video teams. So like I said, the sports staff is very, very important here at FAMU. They kind of help us as full-time staffers get our job done. That's what we lean on in our students. So we just want to give them the light that's needed and show them that we really care.
Well, again, appreciate you, your team, the staff. You guys do great work, man, and it's fun. And anytime there's something that you want to share with us, if you want to come on and talk about it, or you got some new things coming up for the upcoming season that maybe you want to share, let us know. We'd love to have you on and share it with Rattler Nation. I do have a question. Do you keep track of like wins and losses per uniform? I'm just curious.
I don't, but Coach Willie Simmons did.
He did? Okay.
If we lost in the uniform, or we better not wear that, whatever helmet and combination, it goes down to the shoes, everything, man. But, winning those 8, 9, 10 in a row, it didn't matter what we wore at that point. But I don't keep track of it. But, we did have some coaches that did, and that brought excitement to it. But other than that, we have over probably 30-something combinations we can do with our uniform when we change the face mask, helmets, so we can get it all tricky if we want. Wow. So, we're at that level where, we call us the mini Oregon, man. We can mix it up all different type of ways. The all orange color rush, the all white, the white, green helmet, face mask. We'll play around with some other things this year that's going to be huge. So look forward to it this season with the new uniforms, with all sports coming out, just some little twists going on.
Okay. I was
trying to keep the culture, though, keep the legacy, keep the tradition. We don't want to mix the uniforms up too much. So whatever little spices we can do with the uniform to kind of enhance it, to keep the tradition, whether it's a throwback theme, whatever it is, just try to keep the theme the same.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Donald, appreciate your time this evening, man. Thank you again for everything you guys do. It's been a pleasure. And we look forward to talking to you again. And you guys make sure to head over to that field house, right? And what are the hours? What are the hours when they can come over to the field house?
Well, they can actually come. I'm there early morning, but I would say, let's say 9 to 5. And just like I said, contact me. I'm on the website, phone number and all that before you come up, or just come to the main lobby and just ask for me, and we'll get it rolling. Like I said, a lot of people know word of mouth. A lot of people know who I am, the email, the phone number. Just try to get with a coach or whoever you might know, or you guys just reach out to me, or just come and ask for Donald Reed at the football field house. And then, we'll go from there.
All right. Wonderful. Yep. Okay. Again, Donald Reed, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to find his email address, find his phone number there on FAMUathletics.com. On the directory is where you can find him. Yep. Or, hey, make sure you're following at FAMU Equipment on Instagram and on X. Are you guys on Facebook as well, or is it just?
No, we're just on X and Instagram right now.
Gotcha.
We used to do the little TikTok, but that's banned from campus, so we can't even do that anymore. So so Instagram and X, and you can DM and instant message and all that great stuff, and we'll get it to you guys somehow, some way.
Beautiful stuff. Thank you, Donald. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it again. Anytime. Yep.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Reed, we appreciate him. Good stuff, man. Great info. Let's take a short break, come back, catch up on some Rattler Roundup stuff. Also, Ashley Coleman's coming in. We got some NIL info, maybe even some more breaking news. We just breaking news and dropping all kinds of info on the ONG. So go tell a friend. There's still time if you're in the poll. If you're on the @MyJBN YouTube feed, a lot of folks are jumping in on the poll regarding our new men's basketball coach. In case you didn't know and you're coming in late, we do have a new ball coach, Patrick Crary II. He is the 15th head men's basketball coach at Florida A&M. Introductory press conference tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern. You can find it on Rattlers Plus. And if you don't know how to find Rattlers Plus, go to FAMUathletics.com. Look there on the left column. You'll see Rattlers Plus. And then that's where you can watch tomorrow's presser. All right, let's take a short break. Come back, talk to Ashley, and do the Rattler Roundup right after these words. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus, and joining us again on the show. Welcome back.
Hello, thank you.
Good to see you, Ashley. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be back with the family. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing good.
All right. What's so Ash? Obviously, breaking news earlier with the announcement of a new men's basketball coach. What's
yeah, we got a lot going on, don't we?
What's your thoughts? Any quick thoughts you have on the hire?
I'll say that I'm neutral in the sense that I believe that in the space that we were in as a program, allowing someone else to come in and have an opportunity to kind of build this thing back up. From that point, it's kind of like a beggars can't be choosers mindset in a sense, but I'm also of the mindset that I was kind of on the Chris Wright train as well. So we all had our people that we thought, should be the one, based on level of program, our facilities, things of that nature. So I be honest and say I was not expecting to hire, but after looking at the resume, just kind of looking at different perspectives, even just being on here for tonight and seeing different perspectives, I'm actually very optimistic, and I'm very open as an alum and as well as a fan to see where he can take the program. Because let's just tell the truth, we weren't in a great position to begin with. So he almost has to be some level of elevation. And from his resume, I believe, and being in South Florida, being from the DMV, which is a basketball area, and perhaps any of his other connections hopefully will bring, positive impact to the build. This is kind of like a climb up. This is let's go up. So he's a part of the climb up to back to prominence.
Yes, and in the chat, yes, Timona, yes, you can take the poll. It is open to anybody in the chat. So yes, touche. I love my people. I love my people. But yes, the chat so far 75%. I think it was the last I saw. 75% like the hire. So that's positive. I mean, that's a positive number. I think a lot of people are being realistic with where we are and who we are, which I think is the big thing. Be realistic with who we are, and it is different. It is different. Like I said, the last few hires have been a little more seasoned, and so it's good to have somebody young, somebody who's on the upswing in their coaching career, so to speak, and I think that's a positive.
Right, I agree.
Okay, so these NIL spaces continue to be fluid.
Yeah,
every week it seems like. Matter of fact, just today, and I don't, Kelvin, do you have it pulled up, or do I have the NCAA just released some new? I don't know if it's legislation or some new guidelines. What was it that the NCAA released just almost hours before we came on the show regarding NIL? Or maybe Ashley, you're up on this as well. One of the two.
Yes, me and Kelvin, me and Marcus actually kind of were exchanging information about it very briefly, like almost hot off the press, because it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't too much ahead of before you came on here. So yeah, I actually did some quick reading about it. I had heard, I don't know if it's from a state to state level, but I don't know if Marcus has the article from NCAA up or has any insight, but I'd rather him go first and then me kind of give my thoughts on how it affects things.
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. But they adopted rules, and just as a brief, and this is from NCAA News. The Division I Council adopted rules to allow schools to assist student athletes with NIL opportunities if the student athletes disclose NIL activities valuing $600 or more to their schools. Now, it says from their press release, the decision isn't final until the meeting concludes on Thursday. The Division I Council's meeting this week, and they've had some other legislation as it relates to the one-time transfer rule and everything else, but they're meeting this week. And so, in essence, reading from their tweets, and it was forwarded out this afternoon, that schools can identify NIL opportunities and facilitate deals between student athletes and third parties. They can provide a reasonable grace period to student athletes who do not report NIL information within 30 days. And the student athletes are not obligated to accept assistance from the school, and those who do accept must retain their authority over terms of agreements. Right. And also, I guess the last thing in the tweet says that the existing rules against pay for play and schools compensating student athletes for use of their NILs remain in place.
Good luck monitoring that.
And let me just add another NCAA thing that they prove is that athletes can transfer at will pretty much now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They even stated that an athlete can start the season at their school they're at and transfer mid-season and still be eligible to play.
What?
I didn't read that.
Yes,
I didn't know that far.
Hey, in the same semester?
Yes. When I read that, I almost fell out my chair. So
how do you even do that logistically with a
even for your grades, because you're still in semester.
Well, they have to. Yeah, that's the other part. You have to be an academically eligible from the school you're transferring from. But yeah. So you think it's a free fall now, buddy?
Oh my God.
I feel sorry for coaches because that's a lot to manage in a roster. You better have a great culture that you have within your program.
Absolutely.
So that kids ain't interested in that, because if you messy, you're gonna have a mess on your hand trying to track and control all of that. But yeah, that's part of the legislation too. And
and Kelvin,
it should all be approved. I think they got to, like, they finished Thursday, and then there's some executive council that votes on Monday to make it all official. So by Monday of next week, everything should be official.
And Kelvin, that's part of the reason I didn't know about that in-season thing, which is insane to me. But that's part of the reason I asked. And even a couple of weeks ago, before we had Coach Moore on last week, I was asking about whether college staffs at any level, but especially Division I, need to add someone like a director of player personnel in the NFL level that deals directly with agents. Because right now we're seeing NIL agents entice or perhaps market
Absolutely
a player's marketability. Say, hey, school X might not have as much NIL cash reserves as school Y. So if we get in the portal, then maybe I can work a deal for you, or such and such school has already contacted me. If you're interested, blah, blah, blah. So if you happen to have a director of player personnel at the collegiate level that expands the scope of a recruiting coordinator, much like a director of player personnel at the NFL or NBA or any professional levels, dealing with the agents for free agents, doing the same thing, because that's basically where we are now, or it looks like where it's heading. And with the ruling today with transfer anytime, because we knew that in December, I don't know which court it was. I don't know if it was Supreme Court or if it was one of the other courts, appellate courts, that basically struck down the one-time NCAA rule, I guess, from the standpoint of limiting almost like a monopoly type thing. So they struck it down and put a stay on it. So they've been doing that. And that's why we're seeing all these third-time transfer and fourth-time transfers now, because it's been a stay. But the NCAA looks like they just said, you know what? I'm tired of fighting. Just go ahead and make it a rule, and they can go wherever they want to go.
Yep.
And now you got NIL agents working on behalf or for the benefit of the players. And I was thinking about that earlier today, is that even our show, as out of the love for FAMU and wanting our school to do well in all endeavors, including athletics, when you think about the last 40 or 50 years, how many watershed industries have come out of collegiate sports, between magazines like Athlon, the Sporting News, which expanded college coverage, Lindy's. You think about the recruiting services, which didn't exist 35 years ago, but now you had Scout.com and Rivals.com kicking it off, and then it evolved to 24/7 Sports and On3 and all these other side industries making money off of collegiate athletes, basically as the commodity, peddling the news, and the athletes and the coaches, or the coaches making money as they win. And now the athletes are probably the last to actually get part of the kitty. And it sucks for us because, some of our best players are getting pulled in the portal, but you can't blame the players because they're the last one on the totem pole to actually reap a benefit from this billion-dollar industry.
Absolutely.
All right. So, Ashley, when you were here a couple of weeks ago, you were sharing with us some of the initial visions of what we'll call the NIL group at that time. Do we have any, and as it relates to potentially FAMU's first collective, as it's more commonly known out in the marketplace, but what do you have any updates? What's the latest news and info you can share, or that you're willing to share with us tonight?
Absolutely. So a lot has transpired since I was last on the show. A lot of one thing that I want to kind of impress upon, I'm pretty sure many of us have either had an close interaction with the business being formed, or even formed one ourselves. So an NIL collective, although would not necessarily be for the profit of the person that's running it. In this case, it's for the profit of the athletes and for the benefit of the university. It's a lot of, so to speak, red tape, regulations. There's heavy compliance obligations that come with NIL. There's buy-in from different core groups, whether it be fan base, whether it be athletic groups, whether it be anybody who alumni and organizations of that nature. So it takes a lot of groundwork on the backside to get things done. Even I feel like I've started businesses before, and this is even more. And not only that, it's actively changing, as we know today. So every time you look up, there's a potential of a different caveat that might force you to say, okay, all right, let's take a pivot. And it's okay, but it's just the nature of where we are and what NIL is. So with that being said, there's a lot that has transpired for us to roll with our own form of an NIL group collective. And what I can tell you is that we have gotten plenty of buy-in simply from the alumni groups, individuals. We've gotten a lot of interest from businesses and organizations who are just interested in being connected to Florida A&M. The athletes that, and it's not just a football thing. Let's be clear. It's for women's sports. It's for baseball. It's for track. A lot of our athletes already have individual NIL deals that they work with NIL agent, as you spoke to. And some agents are great for some of them. I won't say they aren't great for the students, but they work great for the university because they don't necessarily pull them away. As we don't want our student athletes to get pulled away, especially based on just NIL alone. Like we don't desire that, although it happens, and we wish them well if they do choose to step away. But there are also NIL agents who, like you said before, shop the players around on behalf of players and have the connections to other programs. Typically, in our case, it's been larger budgeted programs, what the powers that be consider to be larger, higher competition. And we have athletes that are good enough, some, not all, but we have a good amount of athletes who have been developed, who are able to take a step to get a higher dollar NIL opportunity and or playing opportunity at a level that kind of makes them look what, like, let's just say NFL scouts would say, oh, that's better competition. Although we know at the HBCU level, our athletes are just as qualified. Our athletes are just as brilliant and good enough to play on any level of professional sports. But that's the nature of the beast. And as an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old, it's hard to ignore that. So what we intend to do is to get in the game. Like I mentioned the last time I was here, we don't have not had an organized group. We've had some little things here and there. We've had the individuals, but we need to rally our own troops. So this is what this is all about. And we're at the point of soft launching, where we can kind of, share website information, where we can gather emails, gather information, so that when it's time to do a full launch that, embodies a website, embodies communication through social media, that we know who to come and speak to. Of course, we can, we're here, and many individuals who love and care about FAMU come here, right? Even the quarterback club is another place that many of us who love and care about FAMU, we all kind of frequent that from a digital standpoint if we can't be in person. So that's the point that we're at with this NIL group collective. We have communications going with the athletic department that we're working on, making sure that the dots are met, because what we want to do is have synergy. I've spoken to individuals who are highly interested in donating and making sure our athletes have the same or similar opportunities at FAMU that they have at Georgia State or Murray State, any one school you can think of. And that's been the common theme and conversation. It doesn't need to be confusing. It does not need to be, multiple avenues and organizations doing the same thing. And we've had that often enough at Florida A&M in different spaces. And my ultimate goal and desire is to make sure that we are here as one organization, as one group of people who can believe in and trust that we are going to take care of our students. I have a genuine love for Florida A&M. I'm building more and more love, and the more I talk to our student athletes and kind of hear their perspective, and kind of heartstrings get pulled on in that way. So my ultimate desire and business partners, because I'm you see me, but I'm not by myself. Just please understand that as well. We have a compliance liaison. We have an NIL agent who is helping us navigate the rules in Florida, because NCAA might have a rule, but Florida could have a different one. So it's so many caveats to this that is not just for the faint of heart. And you can't do this, especially without being compensated, without having a true love for it. So to sum it all up, in one sentence or two sentences, I'd say that we're at the space of getting ready to present a name. I was thinking about saying it tonight on here, but I'm not gonna break y'all.
Come on, Ashley. Come on.
We have some really cool ideas, some really good opportunities to bring in pull in the funds and pull in merchandising and things of that nature that again go directly to the student athletes. But I think that I'm kind of on the fence of whether I should just say the name and rip the Band-Aid off or not. But we do have a name, we have a logo, we have a landing page that will be provided to the masses for you to have the opportunity. Like I said, I have many people already asking about it. So I see the interest, the team sees the interest, and it's not me by myself. And we're going to make sure that we're honest, transparent, that we are functional, and that we run business the way and customer service is high level for this organization.
Right. Say the name. Say the name.
Come on, Kenya said it right.
I almost say the song, but I had to stop myself. What y'all think? Let's get it. What you think? You think I should say it?
Yeah, let's do
it.
Okay.
Let's look the Band-Aid off. So the name of the NIL collective that we are going to be presenting is going to be called the FANG Exchange.
Okay.
Love it.
Right. I like that.
So think about it. As an exchange, you exchange goods, you exchange services, you exchange anything you're exchanging. So FANG Exchange, and it rolls off the tongue very well. So there's some other things that are coming in conjunction with that as well that I definitely not going to say. Y'all peer pressure me tonight, but you're not going to get the other part of it.
That's okay.
Good stuff. Right. Good stuff.
Hey, can I jump in? Can I jump in real quick? And this is not directly tied to what she's talking about, but I kind of wanted to put it out there because we talked about it, and this dealing with the transfer reporter. So in that sense, what we're trying to do here is give our kids options, our student athletes options, so that, it's not, they don't have to get into the portal and shop around because they got what they need with us. Now, with that being said, I've seen one or two comments in terms of the kids in transfer portals, and kids get in the transfer portal for many different reasons. And I think Coach did a good job of saying, the kids that are in there from our squad specifically are in there, pretty much, seeing if the grass is greener, but they love FAMU. I'll take it a step further though, because I do want people to understand that there's some things that kids are faced with that are reality that we may not be aware of. So, for instance, if you look at a lot of the players who are in the portal, they've got their undergrad degree. Mm-hmm. At FAMU, you can't get Pell Grants as a grad student. So if you got kids or family and you still playing football while, you might get a meal plan and so forth, you don't have the extra dollars to take care of your kids, your families. So you got to hustle or take out student loans, those type of things. So NIL will help fill in that gaps, particularly for that population of student athletes.
Absolutely.
So we have to be understanding of those kids who are already graduated, got their degrees, and the sacrifices they making to represent us and pursue their dreams. And if they have opportunity where they don't have to struggle as much, then we got to be understanding for them getting in that portal to see if there's some opportunity where they may not have to struggle as much. So, but hopefully what we're doing here, what I love about what Ashley and her team is doing is that we're not complaining. We're putting into action and into place what is needed so that we can take care of ourselves and our student athletes, right? That's right. We being the change we want to see. All right,
that's correct. And I actually spoke. I spoke to some. I was having a conversation with someone about the things that the student athletes are presented with, kind of along the same lines of what you're speaking of, Kelvin. And a couple of things I want to point out. No matter what school you're at, but since we're talking about FAMU, let's refer to FAMU. All scholarships are not the same. All scholarships are not 100% covered from any sport. And I've heard about more of it from, from some of the bigger sports, but we have to keep in mind that, like Kelvin said, home situations, family situations matter and affect whether or not they stay or go. Scholarship availability and what if it can be a full or a partial or walk on even, whatever the case may be. So we have to consider all things instead of, the fact that we are just, hey, they're just walking away from us after they've been on our team for X amount of years or a period of time, or they might have been a highly functional and highly valuable athlete to us, but we have to consider what their situations are. So that's very important. I told somebody I almost feel like I'm running a union for the players at this point. Like that's what it almost feels like, because I'm at the point where I'm fighting for our athletes in different forms. And NIL happens to be the avenue that, like I said before, is the quickest way to effect change within athletics without having to, like, there's red tape within NIL rules, but think about how much time and effort and money it would take to get a brand new field house. And how much it would take, but not saying it's impossible, but just think about what it would take to get that accomplished. And then think about what it would take to get, let's just use Kelvin Dean. Let's just think about what it would take to get Kelvin Dean a few extra dollars in his pocket on a monthly or semester basis. So if we're talking about time, because it's really a time factor, we're in a situation where we're competing with higher level programs. If you look at the athletes that have currently been offered defensive linemen, look at the offers that they're getting along with ours. Pay attention. Just look, at the school, no matter if it's G5, a lot of them are G5 and Power 5 offers. So we have to take that into consideration. And the time is of the essence, because the portal is actually open right now. They're now getting the opportunity to transfer at free will, and they are not one to sit around. They have a time frame. They only have so many years of eligibility. So we have to keep that in mind and that's why it's so urgent to me, because I understand that. And I also said I'm an advocate for the athletes. My sole purpose, our sole purpose, is to make sure that the athletes have the best experience that they've ever had, when they come through Florida A&M.
Quick question. Ashley, I don't know if you happen to have seen, I know Bryan and Kelvin and I shared it. There was some tweet that came out yesterday. It was my first time seeing it, where like fans can like put money in a pot for their player. And I'm like, what the heck is this?
I saw it. I actually commented on Bryan's and I was like, well, this is interesting. I did see that. I'll just be frank and honest and say I'm not a fan of that. And it has nothing to do with from a university, because if a player's in the portal, they're in the portal, no matter what school they come from, right? So the NIL avenue that this particular company is taking has nothing to do with whether or not, they'll stay at your school or go. So this is nothing personal to FAMU or any school that I may be rooting for. I just don't care for the model. That's personally me. I don't know. I feel like from a personal brand standpoint, referring to the athlete, how does that what does that impression look like upon you from an athlete, from a coach standpoint, from a fan? Obviously, if fans are giving to the collective in that way, then they obviously want you on their team. But I'm just overall not a fan of the image that it portrays when you do. It's more, maybe it's the image, maybe it was good with good intentions, but the image portrayed is I don't care for it personally.
Yeah, that was my take on it, and I don't want to disparage it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to disparage it. It's just, it's hard to,
It's different. It's look. In two ways. When I saw it and I read it and I looked into it, I'm thinking at first I'm looking at it like, oh, this is kind of ingenious in a way, because what it is, I called it crowdsourcing, because I look at it like what they're doing is reaching out to the fan bases and saying, hey, fans, if you want this guy to come to your school, well, let him know by putting a certain amount of money into this pot, which based on the pledges shows the student athlete, oh, well, this school has pulled together $150,000 for if I go there. This other school has bid $100,000, right? And so you're looking at it like, yeah, okay, for the kid, for the student, hey, it is more stroking of the ego that's showing him, you know, it's even more than what you got as a high school recruit when kids were when you know, it was just message boards and all that other stuff, right? But I'm thinking about it from me as a fan, right? What does that say about me that I'm willing to put $25 into this pot? And if the kid goes, well, then I lose that money. Now, if he doesn't go to this school, guess what? I get my money back. So I guess that's a good thing for me. But it still is like, what are you doing? I mean, and there are people giving more than $25. I mean, there are people that are giving up some nice amount of money for a kid to still, you know, it's crazy. It's just not what I thought the NIL space was designed for.
Right. But I agree. I didn't think so either. And I even went as far as to look and see, I read the bio of the organization that's running this, and they're actually backed by pretty reputable organizations. So I was like, you know, sometimes you look at who's backing them, who's funding it, who's you know, in agreement with this organization. And to be honest, I was like, oh, okay, you know, they're backed by a pretty prominent organization who backs a lot of startups, and puts funds into a lot of startups that are very reputable, so I'm not here to say don't do it for an athlete, you know, that's in the portal. But if you're going to do it, if you're going to, you know, join this public fund collective crowdsourcing organization, I just want any one athlete, FAMU or not, to have representation that can help you make your decision. Because a fan base that may offer up $100,000, $100,000 sounds amazing, but what does it do for your future? Is that the right program for you? Is that the right coaching staff for you? Is that the right you're still in school, so are you going to be able to excel to get on the field there? Are you going to get playing time because of, you know? So I just hope that we aren't dangling the dollar figure to entice young athletes to make a decision that's not really the best decision, because I live by a model that all money isn't good money.
There you
go. So now we want money. Obviously, we need it now, I'm not going to say we don't want money, but we need to make sure that we take the right opportunities and make sure that we are presenting ourselves in the best way and putting ourselves as athletes, even if you're 18, 19, in the right position. So I guess just the biggest thing for me is to be careful. If it were my son, I don't think I would, or daughter for that matter, I don't think I would encourage them to take that route.
Well, there were a lot of football and basketball, which were the two primary portal. Those were the two avenues that were there. Yeah. And there were a lot of names. And the one name that I had come across was a basketball player who was, I guess he was rated as the number one transfer portal recruit. Yeah, and I looked at it, so I know the school that he committed to, but then when I looked at his profile on that site, like North Carolina fans had pledged $150,000, Tennessee fans had pledged $100,000, and he didn't go to either school. But so that just makes me wonder, well, the school he went to, how much is he getting from that school? You know, so hey, exactly. Hey,
well, I mean, in some ways, maybe it helps them determine their value, you know, because
that's what they say they're doing
for the athletes that are going, like, you know, depending on what I mean, at all levels, it's about what your value has become about, you know, the NIL market and what's your value. So maybe that's helping some of those individuals in the portal to say, well, this fan base here was willing to, you know, raise $100,000 for me. So if I don't choose you, then perhaps I can go back to another school and, again, free agency. I can go to that different school that I really want to go to and say, hey, I can go over here to UNC, or I can go to, you know, I can go to ABC University and get this dollar figure, you know, what can you do? And that's where I guess your representation comes in place, if you have any, that helps negotiate that type of thing. So NIL is all encompassing from my, you know, space of what I've been watching NIL for the last couple of years now. I'm not new to NIL. I'm not even new to collectives. I'm just new to a lot of faces in this space, but I've been sitting there watching it just slowly evolve and matriculate into what it is today. And next week, we could likely have something different. So you need someone to help you navigate an ever-changing market until we can land somewhere and be there from a regulation standpoint, which is why it's good to have for us as an NIL group and collective to have an NIL attorney who is guiding us in all things that are NIL, because you have to be abreast. It's just changing, and it's not settled either.
Right. Yep. All right. So Ashley, ladies and gentlemen, as she has come on here and broke news and shared the name of what will be FAMU's first NIL collective, the Fang Exchange. Good reviews from everyone that I've seen in the chat, so that's a positive. You'll be soon releasing out additional information and so on and so forth. So be excited, and the process is in works. The wheels are in motion. The I's are being dotted, T's are being crossed, and everything like that. One final question, Ashley. Okay. Have you had a conversation, or you mentioned being in sort of connect with the athletic department? Are you in communication with VP AD Sykes? What are those conversations like at that highest level?
We've over the weekend with the spring game weekend, we had a when I say brief, I mean very brief conversation about this. It is on her radar. It is something that she is concerned about, obviously, and because I've been speaking with quite a few of our constituents in the university, that she's already has my information, and she already knew who I was when we were formally introduced to each other. So yes, we're in conversation. We're working on our lining our schedules up. We're working on determining how we'll do this, because if you think about the correspondence that came out today from NCAA and allowing the universities to get involved, some people the initial thought might be like a competition thing, right? But I view it as an opportunity to collaborate and allow the university to give more access, where before it was like, oh, we can't be a part of NIL, stay away. Right. Now there's an opportunity, if that does follow through and come to fruition, that it gives the university an opportunity to allow an alumni base who believes in what NIL is, who has the desire, the wherewithal, and the bandwidth to take this on and come together, kind of rally the troops. Whereas where AD Sykes has many things on her plate that she needs to take care of, and not saying that NIL isn't one of them and it's not important, but it just gives us an opportunity to help her be great and help us be great. So I view it as an opportunity to do that. And yes, we've been working on trying to link our schedules to have a long sit down and determine how even the university could determine. Yes. So yes, she's in the know.
Great. Perfect. Good to know. Good to know. Well, hey, look, just what Tamara T said. Can't wait to see where this goes. Great work, Ashley. Absolutely. Appreciate you coming in, sharing this info. Yes. We love the name, the Fang Exchange. Awesome name. Great job. And we when it's time to share more, let us know. We'll do whatever we can. We are big time supporters of not only this, but you're doing great work out there on behalf of these student athletes. And this is great. So
absolutely. Thank you for having us on. And like I said last show, we're happy to come on as things change, because it's kind of interesting to have this conversation, because we have a different conversation. Yes. So this conversation could be very different in another week or two or three. We're open. We have a compliance liaison, like I said, that is open to come on and talk a little bit more compliance and where we go. So there's so many things that we can provide information to help our fan base and alumni group be comfortable and understand and be educated about this, because that's what it's about. It's really about students, and we want to make sure everybody is comfortable.
And that's what we want to do, because the people who watch our show, and those are the people who are going to be pouring into it. So we want to make sure they are comfortable with everything, and kind of a lot of their questions, be able to help that process however we can. So thank you.
Thank you.
right.
I appreciate you having us on.
Yes. Take care. Have a good evening. We'll talk
All right.
soon.
See y'all later.
All right. All right. Good stuff. So again, the Fang Exchange coming soon. I'm excited, man. That is awesome stuff, man. That is awesome stuff.
That's big time. That's big
time. That's where we got to get to. That's
Yes,
what we have
sir.
to get to as a university. That's exactly where we have to get to. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Just in case you didn't see them, those SWAC championship rings for football. Beautiful.
I'm checking my mail.
Beautiful design. Oh, you got yours too?
I can wear it on the show.
What's that?
No, I ain't got it yet. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
No, remember I got the emblem.
Oh, well, yours doesn't look like this. Remember, yours is a combination of this and the Celebration Bowl, remember?
It's still a champion.
I got it.
I won't mind, damn it.
Yeah, I love the official SWAC championship final score. And I don't think I got the one like inside of the ring. They had what was it, a 20 game home win streak?
Yeah,
to commemorate that at that point of the season they had won 20 consecutive games at home is where the streak currently stands.
Is that the one that the bronze shot out?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what are you going to add, Marcus? You're on mute.
You're on mute.
You want me
The
to come
name
back
on
to
that
the
one, that promotion one that they took is James. Now I know there was LeRodrick James.
I don't think it's
a team member. But I don't know if is that LeRodrick who was on the team or is that for LeBron?
I think it's for LeBron. It should be for LeBron. If they were smart when they made this one, I gotta imagine that should be, which is maybe why he reposted it. I would hope.
Okay, because we do have a player with the last name James on the team, but I just wasn't sure. It just came to me as we were looking at it, whether it's for that player.
I've seen somebody's ring, and I think it was Bowlers, where they have a number underneath the helmet. So, like a player would, I believe a player has his number underneath that helmet there. You see where it says James on the left side? It has his number under it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, EA asked a great question. There was a second ring that was a part of the package that they presented on that Friday night
for the players who was there.
Now,
right.
Interesting enough, EA points out it was not EA for the 2019 Black College National Championship that was they were recognized by the Black College Sports Network. This was actually 2021, which was our first year in the SWAC. That was we lost to Jackson State 7-6. This one was the NCAA. What this one was?
I think it was Stan Beck, NCAA.com's HBCU Power Poll.
Yeah, which is it's kind of interesting. That it's interesting that the previous administration would purchase rings for that. Because that's the one that we don't technically recognize that one in our, what's the word I'm saying, in our help me out here, in the bio, like when we say how many national championships we have, it goes from 19 to 23. It doesn't mention 2021.
You know, and the interesting thing about that is the history of those championships and who declared as champions.
Oh yes,
you know,
that
we'll get into that another time. But the whole history of claiming national championships, because The one that's most interesting to me, I'm going to say this one is the 62 one. I think it is.
You brought that up, and I want to hear this. Go ahead. Please go into this because you were. Look, Marcus, I don't know about you, but I kept looking at that like, what is? And I didn't get an ask. I said, what is Kelvin trying to tell me here about 1962? I mean, are we going to do a podcast or a show on 1962? But anyway, go ahead.
So, you had the Pittsburgh Gazette, I think, a black courier, the black paper, and that used to kind of crown it.
Right.
Yeah. You used to crown the black college champions, right? Yes. Well, the NCAA that particular year also had a small college champion poll. And the NCAA actually designated that particular team as national champions that year. But they declared the champions before the Orange Blossom Classic. So we were actually crowned national champions in both polls.
Mm-hmm.
But we played Orange Blossom Classic against a team I refuse to say.
Yes. Please don't say.
And we lost. And we lost the game.
Messed it up. We lost the game. Yes. Yes. Okay.
So the history of claiming champions, who the champion stuff has always been a mixed bag, is what I want. The point of the story.
Yeah, no, and that's the history of college up until maybe these past few years, and especially coming up this upcoming season. College football has been littered with, if you want to call it controversy, or maybe just the mythical titles. It's rarely do you, because again, at the Division I level up until now, this is the first real playoff,
right?
I mean, not a 4-team selection where every conference champion doesn't get. This is the first time in the history of college football when everybody gets a shot, and so this is huge what's coming up. And so of course, even at the black college level where everybody doesn't get an opportunity to play in the Celebration Bowl, that always is a thing. So it just that's college football.
Yeah,
that's the fun and exciting thing about college football, and it is what it is. Okay, let's quickly run through the rundown. We got about less than 10 minutes here, so let's run through a few notes here. Go through our page here. Baseball swept Valley over the weekend.
Hey, Bryan, we beat them so bad that they refused to give any of our players consideration for player of the year about a week.
look at those football.
They're like, it's valid, man. We can't reward them for that.
Right, exactly. When I look at the numbers, these numbers, you show me anybody else who had numbers like what we had. I mean, we outscored them 55-8 over those 3 games. We opened game 1 with a 12-run inning. First inning of game 1. Jesus.
How did you catch that? Because I couldn't catch anything. I was with the Valley's website.
I didn't catch it. That was all after the fact.
I think they had weather issues or something because the games didn't start to Sunday.
Yeah,
the games were the game. There was a doubleheader on Sunday, and then the last game was on Monday.
On Monday.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't streaming anywhere. I don't even know if the live stats was working. I mean, this was all picked up.
It wasn't.
Later in the day.
It's valid.
Yeah, we had 21 hits in game 1 and game 2. So game 1 and 2, we had 21 hits, 15 in game 3. We hit a total of, I think I did the math here, 16 home runs over the series. We hit 6 home runs in game 1, 5 in game 2, 5 in game 3. Listen to some of these numbers. This is why, I don't know who won. I guess the guys from Alabama State won hitter of the week. And obviously they played Bethune-Cookman. So they won 2 out of 3, it looks like. But when you look at these numbers, Sebastian Greco, 8 for 15, 8 runs scored, 10 RBIs, hit 2 homers. That's a batting average of 533 over the weekend. Oh, but he was outdone. Evan Badger, in 2 games, he was 5 for 9, 5 runs, 6 RBIs. He hit 3 home runs. That's an average of 555. Oh, but he was outdone by Adam Hedermoto, 9 for 15, 6 runs, 9 RBIs, 2 home runs. That's a batting average of 600. Oh, but he was outdone by none other than Ty Jackson, 9 for 12. That's a 750 batting average over the weekend. 8 runs scored, 7 RBIs, 3 home runs. That's ridiculous, man.
And that's not the player of the week.
And none of them were player of the week. So just it's Valley. I guess you don't get any credit. You don't get any credit for beating on Valley. So we are 13-2 in the conference. First place. We have a 2.5 game lead over Bethune-Cookman right now. 18-18 overall. There you can see those were the scores. Alabama A&M actually got they won 1, almost beat Jackson State out of 2 out of 3, almost beat them in game 3 there. So that's what we have this upcoming weekend. We take on Alabama A&M. We're hosting them Friday through Sunday. Of course, we swept them the last time we played them. Yeah.
Now, does that mean that Donald's going to be out there with the jerseys? Because he said next home game they're looking at doing the baseball stuff.
It could be this one. It could be this one, or it could be the next one, because we got Valley coming in too.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, the next 2. So the next 2 series are at home.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a road trip.
We play Bethune the first week in May. We play them at home.
Okay.
We play we play Alabama State this weekend. Mid-game against Auburn.
A&M this weekend.
I'm sorry. Yes, Alabama A&M. Sorry. Then we go to Jackson next weekend. So the weekend of April 26th. And then we come back home May 3rd through 5th, host Bethune-Cookman. Another midweek game against University of North Florida. Then we go to Alabama State May 10th, 11th, and 12th, so Mother's Day weekend. And then Valley comes here May 16th through the 18th, and that finishes out the season.
So if I'm him, I'm coming at the Bethune game.
Yeah.
That's the one I would target.
Yeah. Chuck Hunt had just said, I guess that school over on the beach beat Miami in baseball.
Yeah, I saw that. I just saw that right while we were on the show.
Everybody is beating everybody. Doggone, man. I'm telling you, we need to get one of these midweek games. I know it's not important.
I don't understand how we haven't got one already. I mean, well, I don't say that. They played hard.
Kelvin will tell you, we know why. But
because we beating up on SWAC schools. That's why.
SWAC schools.
That's the priority.
I get it. You guys, look, put it like this. What would you rather do? Would you rather beat Florida in one game in the midweek or win a SWAC title? What are your priorities, Rattler Nation?
I understand.
I'll take the titles. I'll take the titles. I would like to say, can we do both? But
yeah, you like both, but
but
we don't get rings for midweek games.
Thank you. You don't get rings for midweek wins. You don't. Exactly. Well said, Marcus. All right. They're the baseball standings in case anybody wanted to know. Hey, take a peek at Texas Southern down on the west side, man. 9 in a row. They're rolling right now. It was ridiculous. So those are the standings. I know it doesn't count our last win against Valley, but that's off the SWAC website.
Yeah.
All right.
18-18.
Yeah, let's move over to softball. Softball, another first place team. We took 2 out of 3 against those cats. The
mangy Tigers.
Mangy. Now we won game 1, 2-0. That was on a Friday. Lost the first game of the doubleheader on Saturday. They just jumped on us early.
Took it on the chin.
They jumped on us.
We pitched our third pitcher though. That game.
It was what it was. They jumped on us, and they got us. But we came back and answered in the third game winning 4-1. If I'm not mistaken, Zoriana pitched both of those games, and of course, as a result, Pitcher of the Week honors for Zoriana Hughes for the 5th time this season. Again, she pitched the 2 games, game 1 and 3, struck out 12 batters, only gave up the 1 run. Pretty dominating performance. I mean, there you can see sort of the list of other students you can see in there. Our good friend of the program, Nia Morgan's won a couple times. Samantha Smith won pitcher and hitter in the same week. So yeah, who else is in there?
By the way, the Jacksonville crew, Papa Morgan and Sweet and all them, they were at the spring game. Sat with us. Got a chance to chop it up a little bit. And let me say about the women's softball, they're in great position. They're 1 up on the person behind them. They're 2 up behind them. I think it's Jackson State and BCU or Alabama State BCU. I can't remember. But either way, our last 2 series before the SWAC Championship for softball is Valley and A&M. So
I saw that. Yep.
So we were in position. We're in position. We just got to finish.
Mm-hmm. Right. Those these are the last 2 series coming up, and I mean we're in position. I mean, if you take a look at those softball standings right there, again, we have not lost a series all season. You know, we've gone 2 out of 3, I think, in the last 3 series, but it's been good competition though. You know, Jackson State, Alabama State, Bethune. And we don't see any of those 2 teams left. So again, we got a chance to go into the tournament as the 1 seed from the East, and we'd be on the other side of the bracket from Prairie View. And you can see Prairie View has not lost but 1 conference game, and they are the defending SWAC champs. And I was even thinking Zoriana Hughes is. I mean, we got to start the conversation. Pitcher of the year. I was looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, if she finishes off these last 2 series the way she pitched this past weekend, I think it'll be hard for. I mean, it might be hard for anybody not to give her pitcher of the year honors.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yes, and I'm glad. Well, let me put it to you like this, and it's coded, but not really coded. I'm glad Ashley is doing what she's doing right now, because Miss Zoriana is pitching very well.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to make sure she continues to pitch well in Tallahassee.
I love the way you said that, Marcus. Very well. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Well said. The softball team, they are 14-4, as you saw, 18-17. They're traveling to Mississippi Valley State tomorrow. Actually, they're probably already there now. They play Valley tomorrow and Friday is the doubleheader. So 1 game tomorrow, doubleheader on Friday, and then they close the series at home against Alabama A&M April 26th and 27th.
And to add to it, we have a good chance, like both of you were saying, a good chance of ending, or actually both teams have a great chance of ending over 500 for the year, winning record for the year, because typically, we might get beat up in the non-conference and then win the conference schedule, but, we're 1 game over 500 now. And we have Valley and Alabama A&M. Nothing's guaranteed, but if we happen to win both series, 2-1 and continue the trend, then we're looking at being at least 3 or 4 games over 500. So a winning record, not only in the conference but overall. Mm-hmm. The same for baseball. We have a good chance.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Just finished day 3 today of the SWAC Golf Championships today, and fresh off the wire from this afternoon, Rattlers finished 2nd in the SWAC Championships, all in part thanks to a final day where they finally hit their groove. Right. They killed it on day 3. Day 1, I think they were tied for 4th. Day 5,
day 2,
yeah, they
went
dropped
back.
went backwards.
Yeah.
But they were out on the course early today because I was looking at the live stats and I saw what they hit, and I was like, damn, that's about that. I think that's the second best number of anybody, because there was somebody who shot they shot a team high 284, which is 4 strokes under on day
Pine
number
Bluff?
3. Pine Bluff, who I think they ended up winning.
They won it. Yeah, again.
Yeah, they won it. They shot that in day 1. I think somebody may have even shot a little bit better, but the fact our day 1 and 2 was kind of like meh. But anyway, we finished plus 18 overall, which the gap between, I didn't look at the fight. What did UAPB finish earlier in the day? They were like plus 5. It was like a 13 stroke. Did we close did the gap shorten between first and second at all?
I'm not sure on that.
Okay. But day 3 was our best day as a team. Patrick Mimwadepol, I may have said that wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Patrick.
Yeah, you tore it up.
Yeah, I did. Sorry, Patrick M. Patrick M. and Taylor Bell had their best outing with a 70. That's a 2-shot, -2. Marcus Taylor shot a 71. That was 1 under par. Patrick Jean-Pierre finished with a 73. That's 1 over par. But over the weekend, all 3 days, Patrick Jean-Pierre finished with the 3rd best score, tied for the 3rd best score overall with a 218. That's +2 over par, earning him all SWAC first team honors. Weldepole, I'm sorry, Patrick, messing that up. He finished tied for 9th and earned all SWAC second team. So Patrick Jean-Pierre and then Patrick M. both earning all SWAC honors, with Jean-Pierre earning first team honors. But yeah, man, if we could have closed the gap there on day 2. That was the day that kind of hurt us a little bit. Real quick, shout out to track and field athletes right there. Brown Marshall, Smith, Dawkins, all earning player of the week honors. As you can see, Kirk Dawkins right there on the track, and Caitlin Smith, Brianna Brown Marshall. What did they do? What did they run or jump? And this was at the Tom Jones Memorial, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were the 3 best finishes for our team at the Tom Jones. She high jump, Brown Marshall high jump. She was 7th overall with a 510.5 jump. And Smith, she ran her personal record in both the 400 and 100 meter hurdles. She's ranked 45th nationally, and the fastest in the SWAC.
Right.
And then Dawkins ran a personal best. His performance was in the 800 meters. He ran a 151.60, which ranks him number 1 in the conference going into they got one more meet next week, and then I think it's then their following meet will be the SWAC Championship.
Yeah. And I think, didn't I read somewhere, courtesy of HBCU track, like the 4x, was it either the 4x4
ladies,
or 4x1?
Yeah.
The ladies did well. I think it was the ladies 4x4. They had some kind of number, which I can't remember the tweet offhand though. But it was a pretty good showing for the relay teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So shout out to them. They're competing in the East Coast relays, which are in Jacksonville, April 26th to 27th. So track and field is off this weekend. Then they're in Jacksonville next weekend for the East Coast Relays.
Mm-hmm.
That should be good. That should be good. Last thing, you guys had on Coach Nikki last week. Tennis is off this weekend, but I believe, when did they travel to New Orleans? I think she said it was
I think today. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, because they compete. When is they compete like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that?
No, it's this weekend. But they have the number 1 seed. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yes, this weekend. It's so they have the bye. So yeah, tennis is in New Orleans. So if you're the Louisiana Rattlers, New Orleans Rattlers, make sure to get out there. I think they have the bye, so they won't actually play until Saturday. And then all they got to do is win that match on Saturday to advance to the championship on Sunday. And got a chance to repeat as SWAC champions.
Yes, sir.
I think Southern and I don't know who is it. Southern and somebody is playing in the first round, so we get the winner of that match from Friday. I don't know if it's Southern and Alabama A&M or Southern and PV. I just don't remember.
Yeah. Okay. The other little nugget that dropped earlier this weekend, or maybe the day or two ago, I think it may be within the past 24 hours, volleyball signed a big recruit.
That was today.
That was today, the announcement.
Next to KR FAMU 1.
How do you pronounce that name? Is it Farouk?
I believe so.
Either Farah or Farah.
I would say Farah Farouk.
Farah Farouk. Yep.
She's out of Episcopal High School in Houston, Texas, and she transferred in from East Carolina University after her freshman year, so she still has 3 years of eligibility.
And what is her position? What's her measure?
Middle blocker. I think she's 6'1".
What is her size? She's what?
6'1". She's middle blocker.
6'1", middle blocker. She looks taller in the picture for some reason. I don't know. Just whatever.
Yeah, but Coach is doing a good job of keeping it undercover. Now I can't find anybody now in these volleyball. These last couple, he snuck in on me. I didn't see the transfer from Alabama State. I didn't see this young lady. So he's doing a good job. He's hiding it from me.
Yeah, we got to get him on the show because we got to get all these camps, these athletic camps that's coming up.
Yes.
Yeah, I did notice that. Volleyball, they got a lot of good camps upcoming. So shout out to volleyball on that front. I did want to make my last note here for me, and this was an article that Gerald Thomas wrote and posted today. Oh my goodness, not Chrome is being updated. It had to do with the guys who are going on the missions trip to Argentina.
I think it's Aaron Jenkins and the other gentleman. I think it's Clark. I think he's from Mosley Lynn Haven. I didn't read the article, but I would recognize the names from past recruiting.
Yeah, Nayron Jenkins, Lamar Clark. They're raising money for a May missions trip work in Buenos Aires, Argentina. They're working under the Fellowship of Christian Athletes banner. And I've tried to retweet the handle. I think it was maybe it was Nayron who tweeted out their link. I know Gerald also. So if you followed Gerald Thomas, GT3, or you can obviously help and support. They're trying to raise $2,500. They began the campaign in early April. They're trying to reach the $2,500 mark, excuse me, by the end of the month. Money will be used for flights food, and lodging. So again, this is a trip, a missions trip that they're looking to take May 4th through the 11th in Buenos Aires. And so hopefully those guys can raise the funds to make that happen. And I maybe we'll if we can, maybe we'll reach out and see if we can get one or both of those guys on the show next week and maybe kind of help spur on their fundraising efforts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we'll send out a tweet. Again, I'll find the tweet from Nayron. I know he tweeted it out early in April, and then I feel bad because he tweeted it out early in April, and I never saw it. So, yeah. So, but we'll see what we can do. Try to help. Try to find out where they are in the process, and then where they go from there. Any final nuggets that you want to jump in and share, Marcus, as we close up?
No, maybe next week we can carve out some time. Yeah, recruiting. But I did see the question from Hollow earlier about defensive line, and we didn't get a chance to ask Coach about that. But he said earlier in the 220 QB club that, our hardest hit area, probably defensive line. And you can see that just based on the number of people hitting the portal and those who graduated, those who exhausted their eligibility. So defensive line is a big point of emphasis. And we've probably offered, 10? At least 10 in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Because you see a flurry, and that was even before the portal. We offered like 6 or 7 in 1 week or within a short amount of time. And we offered a couple more since the portal opened. So depletion of the defensive line and linebacker, we do have some that were there already. And, just addressing that. So once again, so the defense can be fully staffed and up to par to level expectations. And we did have one commitment this week, Justin Squire, who's a DN linebacker from Mandarin High School. I believe he was offered a preferred walk-on earlier in the spring. So we noted that already, but I think he committed on Monday. So he was probably a good developmental player as well.
Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, hopefully if we don't have any big-time breaking news next week, I think we got all our coaches now, so I don't think we're waiting on anything. We can talk more recruiting next week. Kelvin, anything you want to leave us with?
Nope. Come out and support the women's softball team this weekend, and go Rattlers. It's a long day. I'm ready to go to bed now.
Let's clarify. Baseball is at home. Softball's on the road. So. Mm-hmm. And tennis's championship is in New Orleans. Yeah. So softball's in Valley, in Itabena tomorrow and Friday. Baseball is home. Baseball's home. Yeah. So just a reminder, introductory press conference tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern, Rattlers Plus. That's 2 Eastern, 1 Central. FAMUathletics.com, Rattlers Plus. I didn't get a chance to text Josh to find out if it's free. Fingers crossed that it is free, and that anybody can watch it. And you can hear from Patrick Creary, our new men's basketball coach, and I will be working to try to get him on the show next Wednesday. So fingers crossed on that too. Uh-oh, what happened?
Oh no, I'm watching my Hawks. Distracted.
That's
playing game. We're losing by 5.
Right. Oh, come on. Aren't the Hawks the 10 seed?
Yeah.
Come on. This season should have been over. It's punishment enough to make them have to play in for, one last game. But anyway.
Look at this Pacers fan. trying to rub it in. No, I ain't even let you do my boy Marcus like that.
I'm sorry, Marcus. That was wrong. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Yes, it is what it is.
Hey, it's still time. What's the score, by the way? I took the over.
78-85.
Please tell me it's early third quarter. If it's fourth quarter, I'm in trouble. All right. Anyway, that's going to do it for
6 minutes left. 6 minutes and 40.
Third quarter?
Yep.
Oh, good. Keep scoring points. Let's go.
Yeah, the defense wasn't there.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any defense in that game. It should just be all points. Just keep scoring. First team to 120. First team to 130 wins. First team to 130 wins. That's what I want to see. All right. We appreciate all of you for tuning in. A lot of great viewers. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us on Facebook, hit that thumbs up and the like button, please, before you close out your browser. Thank you to everybody who's watched us on X. Record numbers on X. We appreciate you. Thank you to everyone watching on Instagram. Record numbers watching us there. You can make sure to follow the ONG Strike Zone, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at ONG Strike Zone is where you can find us. Please find some time, follow the show, share it with some family. Lots of good stuff. We thank Coach Colzie for coming in. Appreciate Donald Reed for coming in as well, and Ashley Coleman as well, sharing the news about the FANG exchange. There you see it right there. FAMU's first NIL collective is happening. It's coming. And so get excited. Get your checkbooks out. Get ready to roll, Rattler Nation, because it's time for us to step into this game and do more with more. That's what we're trying to do. For my brothers, Kelvin and Marcus, I am Bryan Fulford. Fangs up, Rattler Nation. Get out there in those streets. Strike, and strike again. Congratulations, Coach Creary. We look forward to meeting and talking with you. Welcome to the family. We are excited, and
let's go, Coach.
We're ready to go. So some good times. Congratulations to the search committee and to VP AD Sykes. Congratulations on the hire. That's going to do it for us. You guys be well out there. Take care. Good night. Peace out.
Thank you.